When the series began, few, if any, expected Vancouver to play well in Los Angeles. But typical of Stanley Cup '82, they won not once, but twice in the fabulous form. So now it's back to the Coliseum for the fifth, and what could be the deciding game between the Canucks and Kings. I don't know if the weather in Southern California played a role in the Canucks' success, but if they like it warm and dry, back home in Vancouver, it is perfect. Spring has sprung, and it's gorgeous. Hi, everyone. I'm Steve Armitage with a welcome to Stanley Cup '82 on Hockey Night in Canada. Tonight, Game 5 in the best-of-7 Conn Smythe Division Final. And the situation is simply this. If the Canucks win, they go through to the Stanley Cup semifinal. If the Kings lose, they're out. Working with me on the telecast tonight and providing the play-by-play will be Jim Robson. Working with Jim and providing the color commentary, Howie Meeker and Gary Dornhofer. Right now, let's get a pregame comment from Gary on the Skywalk.
The Vancouver Canucks try to win hockey games, and up here high above the Coliseum ice surface, Larry Popine and his staff try to help them win. Now, what they're looking for is what happens in the Vancouver zone. They're looking at the giveaways, the hits, the face-offs, and most importantly, the shots on net. The good scoring opportunities that L.A. will generate through the course of a game. Now, if Larry and his staff can be helpful in pointing out missed assignments, they'll report directly to the bench area. Now, speaking of the bench area, let's go to Jim Robson and Howie Meeker.
Right, Gary, here we are at the Vancouver bench, and that information from upstairs goes through the headset of Ron Smith, assistant coach of the Canucks, working alongside of Roger Nielsen. And Howie Meeker, Roger really likes to match lines a lot in the playoffs.
Well, Jim, I don't think he matches lines as much as he matches individuals. We have to go back to the Calgary series. If you can reduce the efficiency of the two offensive stars on the opposition just a wee little bit, well, that increases your chances of winning. And Roger Nielsen put Williams against Lanny McDonald. We all know the job that he did. And Gradine and Lupul against Kent Nielsen, who was a heck of an offensive hockey player. Here, Los Angeles, the offensive players are Marcel Dion and Dave Taylor, and Moline and Gradine are doing just a super job on Dion. And certainly Sneps is on the ice all the time when Dion's there. And Dave Taylor, Tiger Williams again, has him talking to himself.
Well, Tiger's been a key player in the playoffs, no doubt about that. And now here's Steve Armitage.
Thanks, Jim. Coming up during our intermissions tonight, Bobby Orr will continue with the hockey legends. And tonight we take a look at the Golden Jet, Bobby Hull. And we'll also have all the highlights from games 4 and 5 in the division finals. Coming up next, we'll check our playoff scoreboard. Our Stanley Cup playoff coverage on the CBC will continue in just a moment.
Regularly, you become too masculine looking. But that's not true. Come on, Sally, tell them it's not true. It's not true. Will you give me that?
The Coliseum is jammed. We're moments away from Game 5 in the Conn Smythe Division Final. The Vancouver Canucks leading the Los Angeles Kings by a margin of 3-1 in the best-of-7 final. If you're a little confused at the Stanley Cup '82 final results, believe me, you are not alone. All we have to do is check our playoff scoreboard for you, and you can well understand why. In the Adams division tonight, Les Nordiques go into the Boston Gardens, and they defeat the Bruins 4-3, so that gives Les Nordiques a 3-2 lead in the series going back to Quebec City. In the Patrick division, the Rangers are leading the Islanders 4-2 late in the third. In the Norris division, Chicago and St. Louis are tied at 2 late in the second. Right now, let's join Jim Robson.
Thank you, Steve. There's the Pacific Coliseum. That's looking at the north end of the building where the Vancouver Canucks skate in their home yellow uniforms, trimmed in black and red, being saluted by their fans, especially Richard Brodeur. Many of the fans standing, 16,000 plus. And this is the kind of ovation the Los Angeles Kings heard in their building in games 3 and 4, but the visiting team won both of those games. The Kings in their road uniforms in the dark purple, trimmed in yellow and white. And I guess this ovation is going to go on for a little while, so we'll get a comment before the game from Howie Meeker.
Well, I think the question on everyone's mind is, can the Canucks keep up the checking and the hitting, and in between test Mario Lazar 3 or 4 times a period and get a couple of goals for their very fine goalie, Richard Brodeur.
And we'll hear from Gary Dornhofer and Steve Armitage as well during our broadcast tonight as Lars Lindgren talks to Richard Brodeur, and now stepping out on the ice to sing the two anthems is Richard Loney.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare of the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons' command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God, to keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for
Richard Loney with the singing of the national anthems. Now the officials working tonight's fifth game in this best-of-7 series, which Vancouver leads 3-1. The referee in the middle, David Newell, 37 years old, 13th year in the league. And the linesmen, Bob Hodges and Kevin Collins. Now the goaltenders. Mario Lassard going back to start in the nets for the Kings, although he did not finish the last game. He's won 4 and lost 4 in the playoffs this year. And Richard Brodeur, who's been quite a story. He's been sensational. 6 wins, 1 loss in the playoffs. And that goes against average .232. The Canucks will start with Green, Smeal, and Fraser. On defense, Lindgren and Streps, as Lindgren is back in the lineup after missing the 4th game with a shoulder injury. The Kings will start with Marcel Dion at center ice, and he's been outstanding in the series. Evans on left wing, Mike Murphy at right wing, and Stepp shoots the puck into the Los Angeles zone. Dave Lewis is on defense with Jerry Korab for the Kings. Marcel Dion in on Harold Stepp, makes the move. Stepp gets the puck and clears it off the board. Berdine got away from Mike Murphy to Stan Smeal. Behind the play, Lewis and Fraser squaring off as if they're going to fight. Fraser has his stick on the ice. Fraser appears to be getting the only penalty. Looks like the Canucks will be shorthanded. From the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver, this is Stanley Cup 82 on CBC.
Well, it didn't take very long for the teams to get involved as captain of the LA Kings, Dave Lewis, Kurt Fraser go to the penalty box.
Well, I would think that's all that Fraser needs is a couple of bangs like that, because he's a sleeping tiger. They get him going. I'll tell you, he'll be a great asset to this Vancouver Canuck Hockey Club.
Well, the penalty to Fraser was for slashing, and the penalty to Lewis was for high sticking. The time of the penalty was 22 seconds. No score in the game, and the crowd going wild here in the opening stages, anticipating the end of the series, but the way the games have been played, you don't know. Every game a 1-goal decision. 2 very evenly matched teams. Mark Hardy with the puck. Hardy and Sharp on the Kings' defense. Berdine and Williams forechecking. Stepp throws a body check. Dion goes to the puck. Turning away from Lindgren. The pass, the shot. Brodeur made a good save. His first save, he got his skate on the shot. Taken by Dave Taylor. Taylor from the corner, trying to come in front. Puck knocked away from him. As Taylor gets the first shot on goal, and a good chance it was, but Brodeur made the stop. Brodin checked off the puck. Battle for the puck on the boards as Bernie Nichols ran into Lindgren. Snaps to Williams. We played a minute and 24 seconds, no score. A steal by Bernie Nichols. In the clear, Nichols. He scores! Bernie Nichols. At a minute and 30 seconds, the Kings lead 1-0.
Well, there you go. Mistake at the blue line, one that Lars Lindgren hasn't made in about 6 weeks. Nichols picks it up and just walks in on Brodeur. Brodeur makes the dive, tries to stick check. Nichols makes a pretty good move, and bang. Just watch the great move he makes here.
Well, one thing, once Brodeur went down, Nichols had the good position on his forehand. He could do just about anything he wanted, and he made no mistake. But Howie, that's what plagued the Vancouver Canucks in L.A. the last game, the giveaways in their own zone. That's an area that they certainly have to improve on.
An unassisted goal for Bernie Nichols at 1:30 of the first period. So the Kings strike first with an early goal. And here they come again. Larry Murphy. Puck came back to him. Forced to the point. Puck kept in by Wells. Hit by Campbell. They do some high sticking. Play going on, and the Canucks start out as Lars Moline gets away from a check. To Malinka in on Wells. Joined by Campbell. Malinka lost control of the puck. Wells strapping with Campbell away from the play on the inboards. This is Jay Wells and Colin Campbell. Very surprised to see Campbell in the lineup. He injured his knee in the game in which he scored the overtime goal to win it and did not play in Game 4.
Well, that's not the best way to treat an injured knee, is getting in a scruff with Jay Wells. But again, both teams, I don't think they like each other very well, do they, Alan?
No, they certainly don't. I just think it's a great psychological lift for Lars Lindgren and Colin Campbell to come back, and Campbell may as well find out early if the knee's going to stand to going.
Tonight's Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from Vancouver.
You'll see a collision behind the net as Colin Campbell really took a run at Jay Wells. Of course, they have an altercation, and both of them are sent to the penalty box. We talk about giveaways, the importance of that cross-wide pass that Lindgren was trying to do there. It's intercepted by Bernie Nichols, and he's awfully good when he gets close in.
Well, that's a no-no. You never pass the puck from a position of safety along the boards into the middle, and it's going to cost you, and it cost Lindgren there.
The penalties to Wells and Campbell, 7 minutes each. 2 for high sticking and 5 for fighting. Slap shot by Evans went high. Moline goes to the puck. Checked by Chartraw, who steals the puck. Rick Chartraw has Evans in front. And the puck went off Evans' stick, and Brodeur covers it up.
That was a good play by Eldebrink there. Normally, the tendency is to watch the puck carrier in the corner, but he looked around to see who was coming in the slot area and took out Evans very effectively. Good defensive move.
It's quite obvious, too, that the Los Angeles defensemen are going to pinch, and they're going to pinch deep, and they're going to pinch early. And I think what you should look for is Harold Sneps. He'll challenge Dion at every opportunity he has already tonight, and watch the job Williams will try to do on Taylor. Oh, he just blew at him once.
Bernie Nichols' 4th goal of the playoffs has the Kings in front 1-0 here. 2.5 minutes gone. First period. Close call at the side of the Vancouver net, and the puck slides up to center ice. And Lassard still has not been tested in the Los Angeles goal. The play has been in the Vancouver end. Lewis shooting it in. Brodeur caught it. Scoops it to the boards. Green just chipped it ahead but didn't get it out. It's blocked. Still in the Vancouver zone. Evans keeping it in. Dion tied up by Eldebrink. Lindgren put it to the corner. Eldebrink's going to get a holding penalty for driving Dion. Now the Canucks are going to be shorthanded. Well, slashing is indicated by referee Dave Newell, but it is a Vancouver penalty.
Yes, it was Fraser at the blue line. Fraser had the puck. Chartraw come in and give him a pretty good check, and Fraser turned around and two-handed him across the leg. Very silly penalty.
Now, it's been a very slow start for the Vancouver Canucks. The L.A. team have jumped right from the opening faceoff, and Coach Don Perry talked about that prior to the game. He said it's important that we go offensively right at the very beginning and see if we can get some quick goals.
Well, I'll tell you what, if they get another one, they'll probably ring in 6 or 7 tonight. Certainly the Vancouver Canucks have to tighten up, have to get some giddy up and go, and have to take the man without taking the penalties. Another thing I think the fans should watch for, Gary, is the way that the defensemen on the Los Angeles team pick the forechecker. They just run interference, pick them off, and the puck carrier has no trouble coming out.
Evans with the puck shot, just missed the net. From behind the Vancouver goal, it's played to Larry Murphy at the right point. His shot partially blocked. Kelly goes after the puck with Hallward. Puck controlled by Bernie Nichols from back of the net. Nichols. In front of the net, the play is stopped. Some high sticking. Now, Doug Hallward was in front with Kelly, and I think John Paul Kelly is going to get the only penalty, and that's Kelly going to the penalty box. This is Hockey Night in Canada from the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver.
Now the Kings are on the power play. Let's look for the front of the net as Kelly trying to get position against Hallward, but he gets the high sticking call, so both teams will play a man short.
Yes, Gary, I'm getting the feeling neither one of these teams like each other too much, and referee Dave Newell is going to have his hands full before the night's over. Good thing he's here. He's the best in the league.
Playing the Los Angeles zone. The score is 1-0 for the Kings. Lewis from back of the net puts it in the corner to number 26, Steve Bullsett. Lupo checked him out the puck. Lupo going into forecheck. In with Lewis. He tied him up. The puck is held underneath Lewis down on the ice. A little extra pushing after the whistle. So the face-off to be in the Los Angeles zone. And there's big Jerry Korab from Sault Ste. Marie.
Well, as they say in the trade, this little Lupo got his bell rung the other day, and there he went into the corner with the biggest guy, the toughest guy in the league, Jerry Korab. When that kid skates and hustles, big fellas like Korab are mincemeat for the little guy. This is an amazing little hockey player.
Well, it was Korab that actually hit Lupo in L.A., so he wants to get even, but that's kind of a mismatch.
That's great. I'd say
Your head against the wall.
A final score from New York, the Battle of the Big Apple. The Rangers 4, the Islanders 2. A hard shot by Elderbrink from the right point there, hit a leg. So the Rangers are still alive in that series. Islanders lead 3-2. Rangers win in Long Island tonight. Here in the Vancouver zone, the Kings with a 1-goal lead. Fail to get a shot, and Stan Smeal puts the puck back to Anders Elderbrink, the rookie defenseman from Sweden, to Thomas Gradin. For Doug Hallward, who missed the pass, Korab takes over. To Lewis, the captain of the Kings, Dave Lewis. His pass tipped off a stick, but Nichols is offside.
Right now, Vancouver looks very tentative. You know, they have the home ice advantage, but we've seen in this series that does not mean a thing. Still have to have that work effort involved in the play.
That's right. I think what's happening is that if I was coaching Los Angeles, I'd say, hey, let Vancouver come to one. We play best when we come out of our own end. We got good skaters, we got good puck handlers, and we can score goals. But when we go in and forecheck, we have to go through 5 or 6 yellow sweaters. Holy Jiminy, let's open this contest up. They're not going to open it up if they just throw it in and go in and check them and take the man and bang around in there.
A little concern at the Vancouver bench about the left ankle of Lars Molin, checked by trainer Larry Ashley. Lupo to Lindgren. 36 seconds left in Fraser's penalty. 57 seconds left in the Kings penalty as Lupo just failed to get a breakaway. Mark Hardy chased by Gary Lupo. Hardy rushing with the puck. Has Dion on his left. Dion in the slot. The shot. Brodeur made a good save on Hardy. Taylor keeping it in. Dion and Belland battling for the puck. Taylor gets it. Dave Taylor checked off the puck. Lupo slides the pass to Neil Belland, the rookie defenseman, to Tiger Williams. Checked at the line, forced outside the line by Chartraw. Fraser's out of the penalty box. Takes the pass. Good Fraser. Good save by Lassard, who came well out to face the shot by Fraser. Lindgren to Halinka. Halinka coming in. Williams in the slot. Fraser from the corner. Doug Hallward. Anders Elderbrink shoots. It's kicked away. Hectic action. Hallward keeps it in. Kelly's penalty is over. Team's at full strength. Outside of the Kings blue line.
Can't be that flag, can you?
Well, that's what the Canucks have to do, is right on top of L.A., put on the pressure. The big guy got things rolling. Halinka, as he was able to carry that puck into the zone. Well, thank you for those signs. We appreciate that, trying to give you the best possible coverage that we can.
Well, I have to agree with you. If they're going to get any offense, and I'm talking about the Vancouver Canucks, that speed, that puck-carrying ability, that getting it into the Los Angeles zone has to be done by Gerdine, Boleret, Palenka, and Gary Lupo. If they lead the charges, it's going to be a pretty good, pretty entertaining, solid hockey evening, I'll tell you that.
Larry Murphy, young defenseman for the Kings, who's had points in every game in this series. Not dressed for Los Angeles tonight are Sims, Therrien, Sykes, Treadway, Palmer, and goaltender Doug Keens. They're players on the roster, but not in the lineup. Jimmy Rutherford is the backup for the Kings tonight. Although on the eligibility list I saw for the National League playoffs, Rutherford's name wasn't on it.
We'll have to check that out. There's a little prepare work going on the ice, but Don Perry had mentioned 116 shots to 67 in our favor. Very frustrating for Hockey Club because Perry felt that we've out-hit Vancouver, outshot them, outskated them. One area they haven't done is outworked them.
They haven't outgoaled them either.
That's right.
Los Angeles 1, Vancouver nothing. Ivan Boleret stick handling in the King zone. Backhands it to Jim Nill in the corner. Bozic checks him. Crawford after the puck. Korad comes up with it. Jerry Korad. Now Larry Murphy. Pass picked up by Smith, centering it as Doug Smith's pass went to the corner. Dean Hopkins is number 12 with the puck. Smith hooked, stepped, ran at him and missed him. Lindgren tied up Smith. Bolder put it on the boards for Nill. He cleared it out off the linesman, and it went back in offside.
Well, that's the type of hockey that you're watching now that I sort of tried to explain a few moments ago. A little more freewheeling, a little more wide open, and I think if you see that type of game, the pendulum favors just a little more in favor of Los Angeles. It's got to be a close-checking, tight-hitting game and played mostly in the Vancouver zone if the Canucks are going to have an edge.
Dean Hopkins is the big Los Angeles player grabbing Sneps from behind. Sneps appears to have some blood around his right eye. He crashed into the boards, taking a run at Doug Smith right here.
Well, Sneps, he certainly won't shy away from anybody. And one thing about the boards and the glass, not very much give, and he took an awful spill. He won't even go to the bench, just stay out there. What's a little blood?
I'll tell you, that glass is a heck of a lot better than that chickenware they used to have back there.
Hey, how do you like the way this Harold Sneps has played in this series?
Well, I've seen flashes of Harold Sneps 3 other playoff years when he just played as great as he has the last 35 games. Right now, I don't think there's a better defenseman in the National Hockey League anywhere. And he can play like that, I would think, when you, Gary, 50 or 60 games a year, he could easily be a Norris Trophy winner.
Well, he's very reliable back there, and I'm surprised that the LA Kings haven't tried to involve him in an altercation, get him out of there.
I agree. 10-minute penalty would just be tremendous for the LA. They take him off.
Jim Nill and Steve Bozic have just picked up minor penalties for roughing in that exchange at 7:09 along the boards at the Canucks blue line. So quite a parade of penalties. Each team has had 13 minutes already in the game. All minors. Well, correct that. Majors to Campbell and Wells included. The Kings lead 1-0. Korad flipped it in front and Lassard picked it off. And Tiger Williams talks to Mario Lassard.
I'd like to go back to Harold Sneps for just a moment. I think as well as improving his physical play in the last 30 or 40 games, he's also improved his mental play. He's not going to get suckered into a 10-minute or even a 5-minute penalty.
Well, he had talked about that. Of course, Roger Nielsen said, look, if anybody comes near you, don't drop your sticks or gloves, just skate away. Because you're too valuable to us on the ice. We don't want you in the penalty box.
Well, they'll face it off on that spot. Dion and Gerdine, two fine centers who matched against each other a lot in this series. Dion has scored points in every game in the series. But Gerdine, despite that, has done a good job against them. This time the Kings get possession. In comes Lewis, or Darrell Evans, rather, with the shot. Broken up, Sneps lost the puck, got it back. To Smeal, to Gerdine. Back for Smeal, intercepted by Larry Murphy. Smeal chasing into the corner. Darrell Evans, the stocky rookie, hit by Smeal. Gerdine back in the net, centered it, intercepted by Korad. Puck goes loose. Sneps broke up the play. The score is 1-0 Los Angeles. Bernie Nichols, an unassisted goal at 1:30. Canucks lead the series 3-1. Pass misses Korad. Doug Hallward, formerly a Los Angeles King. Chased by Dion. The pass to Gerdine. That's Smeal with him. Thomas Gerdine in on Hardy. Hardy batted the puck to the corner. Gradin centered it. Lindgren controls at center. Shooting it in as he's bumped by Evans. Lindgren with a bad right shoulder, injured in the third game of the Calgary series. Re-injured in Los Angeles. Back in the lineup tonight after missing a game. Dave Taylor couldn't pick up the pass. Tag of Williams and Gary Lupel. Williams and Hardy racing for the puck. A rush by Bernie Nichols. He's got Taylor with him, 2-on-2. Nichols shoots. Revere made a good save on a fine rush by young Nichols. Bellin to Lupel. A break for Jim Nill. Jim Nill. Jim Nill.
What a play by Gary Lupel. He had his head up on that pass, Howie, looking for Nill cutting through the middle and fed him perfectly. And what an effort, being on one knee and still being able to put that puck in the net.
How about that? He got Lazard going the wrong way. Look at that hook. Gonna be the penalty, but hey, we'll take the goal anytime at all. But as you said, Gary, just a great play coming out of the Vancouver end. A good pass to Lupel, and Lupel put it right on the tape of Jim Nill's stick. Tremendous goal.
Well, had Lupel been looking at the puck, there's no way he would have seen Nill, but Nill from the left wing cut over through the middle and put it right on his stick for the goal. Wow.
It's a 1-all tie. The goal was Nill from Lupel and Bellin at 8:15. The first playoff goal for Jim Nill. Bellin passes too far ahead for Crawford. Dave Lewis shouted by Nill. Nill from back of the net, centering it, and it's blocked by Torab. Nill took a check from Doug Smith, and they cover up the puck. With the score, Vancouver 1, Los Angeles 1. This is Stanley Cup 82. I'm Jim Robson with Howie Meeker, Gary Dornhofer, and Steve Armitage at Vancouver's Pacific Coliseum. We have played 8 minutes and 45 seconds of this first period. Ron DeLorme shoots the puck wide of the Los Angeles goal. Bolderev in forechecking on Lewis, and the puck is covered up. A little roughing along the board. Crawford throws a punch at Doug Smith. Rookies Mark Crawford and Doug Smith. And now Crawford has got the upper hand on young Smith as the linesman. Now Smith gets up and starts throwing punches at Crawford.
The secret of that kind of battle is to keep the helmet on, isn't it, Gary?
Sure is.
I'll tell you, Ron DeLorme's just waiting for something to start. He can go pretty good.
Well, of course, when you're playing with the kind of intensity that both of these teams have throughout the series, you expect altercations to break out every once in a while.
Well, there'll be major penalties out of that. Hockey Night in Canada will continue in a moment.
Well, watch young Neil Bellin just make a super play here. Carried it out, hit Lupel with a pass again, right on the stick. Lupel with his head up, and look at this. Gives it to Neil, who just come out of the penalty box. He goes in. Now watch him hit the short far side. He got the goaltender going to his left and put it to his right. Pretty good shot, but hey, just a great pass.
Absolutely, but Howie, that's the way to get away from your checker. You know, if he just goes down the wing, it's easy for a man to cover you, but when you start breaking for the open ice, it makes it very difficult. Nill did that, and it was rewarded with that good pass from Lupel, and boy, he didn't make any mistake.
Would you say, Gary, that over the years since we've been involved with European hockey, that heading for holes or heading for open ice by Canadian players has improved?
It certainly has. Gentlemen, while we have a moment here, I think that we are all relieved to hear that Peter Pocklington and his family are all right, that mishap that happened in Edmonton had everybody very worried, and we just thank God that everything worked out and hope for a speedy recovery for Mr. Pocklington, the owner of the Edmonton Oilers.
Certainly second that, 100%.
Dave Newell is trying to get control of things here, and gentlemen, we just noticed that Ivan Halinka has left the Vancouver bench and has gone to the dressing room, which might indicate an injury to the big Czech center. Penalties assessed here at 8:53 as the penalty box is a little crowded. Mark Crawford and Doug Smith were the two youngsters in the fight, but Ron DeLorme and Jay Wells also picked up penalties. There's the crowd in the penalty box. It's Crawford, DeLorme, and Campbell from left to right there. Ivan Boldurev relaying the information to the Vancouver bench.
Gentlemen, there's something else. You know, you talk about DeLorme and Williams, the job they've done checking. You know, most of the guys that get publicity are your goal scorers and your goaltenders. But the lesser lights, the muckers, they don't get much of that. But Roger Nielsen has conveyed the importance of what they're doing and how important it is to winning by the checking job they do with those two stars. And they have done it very effectively, not for one game, but for all 4 games.
I'll tell you why the lesser lights, the muckers and the hard workers don't get too much publicity over the season. They don't work hard. They don't muck it out. Certainly here, they're every bit as valuable to a winning effort. It takes 5 fellows on the ice to make a goaltender successful. It takes 3 forwards to make a defense player successful. When they're all hitting, when they're all coming back, pick up the man with the loose puck, it's an easy game to play, as you know when you were in Philadelphia.
Let's pick up these penalties. There are a lot of them.
Harris, 10-minute misconduct. Vancouver penalty to number 28, Mark Crawford, 2 minutes for roughing, 5 minutes for fighting. Vancouver penalty to number 19, Ron DeLorme, 10-minute misconduct. The time, 8:53.
So Crawford gets the extra 2 minutes out of all that. For throwing the initial punch, Crawford got an extra 2 minutes. Smith and Crawford get majors. The other penalties are misconducts, but Vancouver is short-handed. With 9 minutes gone in the first period, a 1-all tie. The Kings have a very potent power play. They're 9, or rather, well, we'll give it to you in a moment. But they're 1/3, 33% on the power play. Shot by Evans is blocked. Lindgren, and the puck is cleared out by Neal.
Lindgren went down to block that shot, didn't he, with his sore arm?
Well, once you get in the game, don't worry about it. Los Angeles is 13 for 39. I knew we'd find it. On their power play. 13 goals and 39 opportunities in the playoffs. And against Vancouver in this series, they're 4 for 13. Gary Lupul getting the puck out. The Kings power play going back to get the puck. Number 15, young Darrell Evans, a rookie. To Larry Murphy, to Charlie Simmer, coming in with Dion and Taylor. Dion from the corner. It's a 1-all tie. Dion watched by Lindgren and Gradine. Darrell Evans to Larry Murphy to Dion. Weak pass intercepted by Stan Smeal. Coming out. Taken to the ice by Larry Murphy, and Darrell Evans gets the puck. Just missed Gradine's check. Darrell Evans up the middle. Charlie Simmer. Shot. Brodeur stopped it on the short side. Put it to the corner. Dion with the puck. To the point to Evans. That's a very good shot from the point. Dion to Larry Murphy. The shot. Tipped just wide. Charlie Simmer from the corner. Shoots. Hit Lindgren. Taylor centering it. Gradine couldn't get it out. Darrell Evans to Marcel Dion. Watched by Snips. Loose puck. Still in the Vancouver zone. From behind the net. Dion centering it. Tipped wide. Vancouver's back at full strength. Dion shoots. Brodeur made the save. Boy, is it getting rough tonight in front of the net. Certainly the roughest game in the series.
Well, it's an important game for the LA Kings because if they don't win tonight, they have an opportunity to get out on the golf course. So they have to come up with a good effort. But a good power play by the LA Kings. And the guy that's always dangerous, Howie, is Marcel Dion. The way he can move, he can turn on a dime.
Here, look behind the net. Watch Simmer hang on to Lindgren's stick. Lindgren says, give it to me, I want it. You know, the smart thing to do there is just let go of the stick, and Simmer's standing there holding it. They practiced that to me one time when Bay was with Boston, I was with Toronto. I had a hold of his stick. There's no way he was going to move it. He let go of it. The referee, Bill Jennings, says 2 minutes, rookie.
Well, while all that was going on, more penalties, Jim.
Kurt Fraser is going back in the penalty box. Larry Murphy of the Kings. Keep the calculator handy. We'll have to try and figure out these minutes. All kinds of...
Howie, a good point that you had made is, you know, the LA Kings are getting plenty of shots, but only one at a time. Then it's the defense or Brodeur that comes to cover up. If they'd be able to get 2 or 3, it might be a different situation. But only that one shot You don't have that many good opportunities when that happens.
I think what they have to do is give it to Dion and say, hey, get motoring, beat somebody. They're only challenging the defense or the defensive system or the box by passing the puck around the outside. Dion has to motor with it. Simmer has to motor with it. They have to carry and beat someone one-on-one. And on that power play, Dion always plays the left side, and Harold Snepps, who plays the left defense most of the time, he switches over to the right side, so he's head-to-head with Dion. It's, I just think, an attempt to take a little bit away from Dion.
Well, we have a medical report on 2 Vancouver players who have been injured already in the first period. Lars Moline has a bruised left ankle and is in the dressing room. And Ivan Halinka has a bruised back and is being taped up and will likely return. Darcy Rota, wrist shot, missed the net. The score is 1-1, 8:45 left in a stormy first period. The goal scorers, Bernie Nichols and Jim Nill. Hardy with the puck. Jimmy Fox back in the Kings lineup. Missed the 4th game with a Charlie horse. Turning with the puck. Lets the shot go, easily stopped by Brodeur. Eldebrink clearing it out. Rota chasing the puck. Got to it to avoid the icing call. Korab and Rota near the corner. Mark Hardy with the puck. Jimmy Fox is number 19, and number 9 with him is Bernie Nichols. Fox dumping it in. 8:05 left in the first period. 1-1 tie. Van Spiel takes a pass, comes in with Boldurin. Shoots. Blocked by Jay Wells, and Campbell brought it in, but it's offside.
Well, number 12, Stan Spiel, you know, fellas, he must have think he died and gone to heaven. You know, someone, you know, everyone else in the club is helping with the hitting. And God darn it, that hasn't happened all year long. More times than not, he, Williams, and Snepps were the only ones out there doing the heavy work. You know, Stan's game has to be 50% easier to play when everyone on the team is hitting and playing his type of game. He's just a great motivator. Excellent hockey player.
Well, it takes the heat off of 3 or 4 individuals that do most of it, because then the opposing team, they key on those guys and try to get them to stop it.
Spiel wearing the C as the Vancouver captain, as the regular captain, Kevin McCarthy, is out with a broken ankle. Jay Wells coming to the slot. Bellin stayed with him. Loose puck in front. Bellin fighting to get to the puck. Gets it to Tyler Williams. Williams, Berdine, and Bellin on this rush. Williams shoots. Missed the net. Lassard poked into the boards. Berdine with the puck. Check near the corner. Put it behind the net. Wells hit by Williams. Rick Chartraw with the puck to Dave Taylor. One of the best two-way wingers in the league, but he's outside in the play with Dion going in too soon. Live from the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver, the Stanley Cup playoffs. They're the men of the hour. Richard Brodeur and Mario Lassard. Lassard's 27, Brodeur's 29. Both from Quebec. And a little exchange on the face-off between Stan Spiel and Dean Hopkins. And Dave Buell is warning Spiel, but he's not giving him a penalty.
He's just letting the referee know he has every right to stand there, as does Hopkins.
Doug Howard with the puck, shooting it in. Might be icing. Icing is called in Vancouver. Gary?
You know, since LA have had a lot of problems scoring goals, I guess the thing to do is ask the coach what they're going to do about it. And Don Perry had said, well, we've looked at tapes and we feel that Brodeur, if he has problems in an area, it's on the stick side. So we're going to try to shoot more in that area. And also, he comes out a lot, so it's up to our wingers when they go down that way, take the slap shot and go wide and try for that open side, similar to what Rota did the other night.
And, of course, Bernie Nichols on his goal held the puck, pulled Brodeur right out of the net and scored. It's a 1-1 tie. Jerry Korab putting it behind the net. As penalties to Fraser and Larry Murphy expire. And we've had a parade of penalties in this period. I have 62 minutes tallied up so far. 32 to Vancouver, 30 to the Kings. And that's unofficial. Eldebrink with the puck. Kurt Fraser starting up with Spiel and Boldurin. Boldurin in on Wells. Boldurin turned off the puck. Korab starting up as Howard was knocked down by Hopkins away from the play. That's why the crowd reacted. Jay Wells with the puck, shooting it in. throws the check. Zimmer after the puck. Tied up by Neil Bellin. Dean Hopkins. Pinned by Ivan Polderev. Hopkins still working to get that puck. And they finally covered up to stop the play. And young Bellin is having a tough time with big Charlie Zimmer.
But he's hanging right in there, taking him right out of the play. And that's one thing that the Canucks have done so well. When they take a man out against the boards, they pin him there. They don't allow that guy to get back in the play or get himself in a scoring position. How about that effort?
Well, just a few moments ago, he had Jay Wells in the same position. Wells comes in, shot the puck, and hit Bellin. Bellin just hung tight with him, just as he's standing right there. That's the secret to success playing behind the blue line. You just take one man, you get him off the puck, and then you keep yourself between him and the net so your team gets possession of the puck. And it's easy as ABC if you play it that way.
Shot for the right point, deflects, and Badura kicked it out. Campbell from back of the net. Colin Campbell to Thomas Gradine. Intended for nil, tipped away by Jay Wells. Kelly dumps it in. In goes Mike Murphy to forecheck Neil Bellin. Puck came in front. Badura covers it up.
Well, did you see number 9, Nichols touching the puck, and he looked up. He was home free in front of the net. Bellin was coming around behind the net, and he says, ho, 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 let her go. Bellin screamed him. I'll tell you, good checking. Just takes a little bit away from the old bench in front of that net, doesn't it, Gary?
Well, you get hit around so many times. The next time you're out there, you look around to see if the guy that knocked you on the seat of the pants is out there again. If he's on the bench, then you can freewheel a little bit. If he's out there, you know you slow down a little bit and keep your head up.
Nichols says, hey, discretion's a better part of valor. I want to play some more, so we let the puck go.
20-year-old Bernie Nichols, a 4th-round draft choice, played in Kingston last year. In fact, Bellin was his teammate in junior hockey. In front, Nichols shoots and hits Bellin, who made the big play to block the shot. Campbell to Rhoda to Smeal with Gradine. Gradine takes the pass. Gradine, return pass, tipped away. Gradine got the puck to Rhoda behind the net to Smeal, trying to jam it. Took a heavy hit. Knocked down at the side of the net by Jay Wells. As the Kings ice the puck, Campbell back to pick it up.
Well, that kid Nichols, as far as I'm concerned, is the best player on the Los Angeles team at coming out of the corner and getting that shot in front of the net. Just amazing. I think we might have a shot of it. How I watched 2 games on television, how he comes out of the corner, he either beats the guy or you take a penalty. Here he is here.
Now he has good control. Look at him. He knows he has the puck on his stick. He's not even looking at the puck. Good control. And then lets the shot go, but Bellin was able to get a piece of it and deflect it in the corner. But no, Nichols playing with a lot of poise and confidence.
He's a heck of a good young hockey player, I'll tell you.
The Kings have 14 draft choices on their roster. Tiger Williams shoots right on. Mario Lassard made the stop, saw it all the way. The shots are 8-5 at this stage in favor of Los Angeles. The score is 1-all. Harold steps to Gary Lupel. Lost the puck. This is Darrell Evans in on Lars Lindgren. The shot just missed the net. Harold steps with the puck. Williams and Lupel. Nil on the right wing. Getting back on side as Williams shoots it in. Easily caught by Mario Lassard. 4:36 left in the first period. It's 1-all. Larry Murphy passes to Darrell Evans. Taken out by Lindgren as he shot it in to Dave Taylor. Snett pinned him. Battle in the corner for the puck. It's covered up to stop the play. This Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from Vancouver. Our score in the World Hockey Tournament today, Italy and Canada tied at 3. And Canada outshot Italy. I think the shots were 55-22. But a goaltender named Jim Corsi, who played with the Edmonton Oilers 2 years ago, was a star for Italy in that tie. He was born in Montreal. I don't know how he qualifies to be on the Italian team, but that's where he is. He likes pizza. Williams keeping the puck in. Lupel misses a check. Gets the puck to Nil. Wells hits Nil. Lupel goes to the puck. Dion checks Lupel. Puck still in play. Now it's covered up. Wells working over Nil near the corner.
Well, again, teams putting on pressure, taking turns. That time was Vancouver, good puck control, but L.A. this time was able to cover up very effectively, taking the man out. Can't say enough the play of Gary Lupel. I think he would just drive me nuts out there. He's always puck-hounding, always on you, thumping at every opportunity. And let's not forget, he's not a 200-pounder either.
Well, Gary, earlier on in the season, everybody said, hey, he works hard, he checks well, he makes plays pretty well, but he just didn't seem to have the leg. The last 20 games of the season, somewhere along the line, he picked up that half step. Now he skates as well as anybody and has made a great contribution to getting the Canucks as far as they are today.
Stan Spiel facing off against Doug Smith in the King zone with 3:50 left in the first period, a 1-all tie. Spiel won the draw, the puck into skates, a good glove save on that quick shot by Kurt Fraser, but Mario Lessard came up with the shot.
I don't think he got very much wood at that on that shot. Do you, Gary?
Well, that's the old shot from the face-off. Again, all those face-offs are so very important, but good reflexes by Lessard to pick that one away.
Rick Chartraw from back of the net. He's been on 4 Stanley Cup champions with Montreal. He's the only player involved in this series who's been on a champion. Elderbrink scoops the puck out. When I say a champion, I mean a Stanley Cup champion. Others involved have won titles in other leagues. But the big one, Chartraw, is the only one that wears that ring. Doug Smith, the 18-year-old rookie from Ottawa. Cleared outside the line. Mark Hardy takes over. The Kings won, the Canucks won. 3:10 left, first period. Chartraw. Now Smith pulling away from Boulderin. Smith winding up, he shoots, missed the net. Campbell put it to the boards. Fraser lost it in his skates. Campbell put it off the boards. This is Steve Bozek. They're all fishing for the puck, and it's cleared out. 2:48 left in the period. Hopkins scoops it in. Anders Elderbrink chased by Kelly, who took him out. Good forechecking by John Paul Kelly. Wells, and the play's offside as his pass went behind Mike Murphy.
Gary, I think we should remind our partner here, Jim, that there's a couple of fellas sitting next to him that have a few Stanley Cup rings.
Yeah, I think you'd mentioned that, Jim.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, you've got all the facts and figures.
Now again, the battle that has been prominent in this series has been Dave Taylor and Tiger Williams. And do they do battle? Not a quarter taken, not one given. But a glove in the face, you'll take that anytime for a win.
And they've been hammering each other every night. This is the 5th consecutive game. They've been matched up almost every shift. Even in Los Angeles, Vancouver was able to get Williams out against Taylor a lot of the time. Snips to Rhoda. Coming in with Crawford and Gradine. Darcy Rhoda centering the puck. It hit Larry Murphy. Rhoda centered it again. Lessard covered it up. And now some high sticking in front of the net. Lots of feeling in this first period.
Well, I was surprised there. Did you see Larry Murphy take Rhoda off the puck, and then there was a loose puck that he turned right away from and headed for in front of the net, and Rhoda threw it out in front. You got to finish the check, and that Murphy is just a very, very good young hockey player. Surprised to see him make that fundamental mistake.
Now we're going to see it again out in the corner, and there's the loose puck in front of the net. Mike Murphy had possession about 10 feet away from Lessard, and all he did was just nudge it ahead so Lessard could hang on to it for the faceoff.
Well, there's a fella who was sensational last year. The Los Angeles Kings started very, very slow this year. All of a sudden found his skating legs, his puck handling ability, and I'll tell you, he's one good young hockey player. Going to be a great one.
Well, we're going to have some more penalties here after the whistle. Quite a long exchange between Darcy Rhoda and Jay Wells, most of it verbal. But finally, Dave Newell says that's enough. Cool out for a while. There goes Jay Wells, and Darcy Rhoda will also pick up penalty, probably minors. I don't know whether they'll call it delay of the game or roughing, or probably roughing.
Jim, I must say what a treat it is to be back in Vancouver and have this broadcast position. I couldn't believe where they stuck us in L.A. We had fans in front of us waving. So we certainly get a good view of it here tonight.
Never mind the broadcast position here in Vancouver. What about the weather?
It's the second time in the history that I've been out here I've ever seen the sunshine, Howie.
Well, from now on, you can't say it doesn't rain all the time.
That's right.
It's been a beautiful spring day, up to 19 degrees Celsius.
Now, I love it out here, and the fans are great. Great people out west.
High sticking minor penalties to Darcy Rhoda and Jay Wells. as Bernie Nichols waits on this face-off in the Los Angeles zone. He has scored the Kings goal. Jim Nill scored for Vancouver. It's a 1-all tie. 2:05 left in the period. Gradin gets the draw to Williams to step the shot. Loose puck in front. They take away on it. And it's covered up by Lassard down on the ice. It stayed out as the tagger was right there trying to jam it in.
I'll tell you, watch Gradin in front of there. You get the tendency to think, hey, look at Thomas Gradin, that he's not a rough, tough little guy. Look at this. He gets him out of the way. He gets a poke at the puck. He is one complete hockey player.
How you normally associate a European player, a type of individual that doesn't like the rough going. Well, Gradin certainly shows that he's not afraid to go in there and mix it up. Almost happens to knock that puck in the net.
A shot. Doug Howard from the left wing.
Well, folks, goaltending is the difference. All you have to do is watch the shot along the ice and watch the goaltender down on his knees. No way in the world that shot should go in, screened or not screened. Gary, as you say, the importance of winning the draw.
Well, we've seen a lot of matchups. And again, the Canucks win the draw cleanly, and Howard gets the goal. Now, there was quite a mix-up in front of the net. Gradin, after he got the draw, went to the front of the net. I don't know if he deflected it, but he was certainly providing the screening of Lassard.
Doug Howard is getting credit for the goal. It's 2-1 for Vancouver. Marcel Dion shot cut by Richard Brodeur. Williams failed to get it out from the right point. The shot, Brodeur caught it and held it to stop the play. The scoring play was Doug Howard, his first goal of the playoffs from Thomas Gradin.
You know, there was some question mark when he got into the Vancouver Canuck lineup, maybe 40 games halfway through the season. No one questioned Gary, his puck handling ability or his skating ability, but could he take the man in front of the net? Could he take the guy in the corner? What would he play like in the rough going? Well, he's been a very, very pleasant surprise. I think he's played extremely well in the rough going. He's maintained his high standard of puck handling. The roughness hasn't taken anything off his game.
Snips with the puck. Vancouver 2, Los Angeles 1, 1:34 left in the first period. Gary Lupul rushing in on Chartrand. The crowd is not booing here when Lupul has the puck. They're chanting Lupul. Snips being watched by Dion. Lindgren off the boards for Williams. Hardy breaks it up to Dion. Slowed up by Lindgren. Dion keeps working for the puck. Lupul didn't get it out. Mark Hardy passes to Taylor. Brodeur stopped it, and it went over across the crossbar as he lost sight of the puck. Penalties are going to be called again.
Did Taylor take a run at Lindgren? They must have said, hey, Lindgren got a sore shoulder. Anytime he's along the fence, give it to him. Let's get rid of the guy. Taylor tried.
Now, just as penalties are called, DeLorme and Captain Dave Lewis of the LA Kings have finished their misconduct. They're out on the ice.
There's going to be penalties to Taylor and Snips. In this exchange, there's Harold Snips. There's Snips. That's why he's getting 2 minutes up in the jaw with a cross-check. Wow. Here's Taylor on Lindgren. Look at this.
Woo, look out. Wouldn't be the best thing to do is just put that stick in the high port when they're coming like that.
Let somebody run right into it. Yeah, nobody likes to eat Sherwood or whatever stick it is.
They don't come back to the second time. Run at you like that, you have to defend yourself.
Snips' penalty for elbowing. I think Taylor's was high sticking. That's what it is. They're having a difficult time hearing the announcements in the roar of the crowd, but that's understandable because the crowd is roaring with good reason. 1:01 left in the first period. Marcel Dion at the Kings bench, and he has been outstanding in the series. Snips is leaving the ice and going to the dressing room, and so is Taylor. The referee getting them to the dressing room at the end of the period here with 1:01 left on the clock. And there's Thomas Gradin. There's Harold Snips walking to the dressing room. One of the few times he's going to get a rest in the series. For the last minute of the period, Vancouver 2, Los Angeles 1. Lars Lindgren with the puck. Now to Anders Eldebrink. The Canucks have 3 Swedes on the ice right now. As in comes Bernie Nichols on Lars Lindgren. Nichols shoots. Oh, it went off Berneur's hand. Short draw. Checked by Gradin. Elderbrink goes to the puck. Anders Elderbrink, the rookie from Sweden. Bothered by Nichols, who steals the puck. Bernie Nichols shoots. Oh, hit the post. Hey, is this Nichols kid ever having a great period? Bernie Nichols almost tied it up right there. Lindgren with the puck. Nichols is on him again. To Larry Murphy. He shoots. Berneur made the stop. And Nichols made that happen too. Woo!
You know, when you're an effective stick handler and skater like Nichols is very deceptive, you know, you have to key on him at the blue line. Now watch. Canucks have two guys back. Everybody's backing in. Why give the kid that good opportunity for the shot? Somebody has to go out and challenge him, stagger the one defenseman.
Well, certainly if they go out, they have to go out in pairs, or as you say, stagger. One goal and the other back them up and behind, because one-on-one, if the checker is attacking you, the attacker's got all the advantage.
But you have a couple of guys there, Howie. You've got Nichols, that's so effective carrying the puck, and also Marcel Dion. I would think that when those two guys are out there, you make it a point to try and stand him up at that blue line. Force him to shoot that puck in.
That's right. I agree. But it's dangerous.
9 seconds left in the period. Larry Murphy with the puck. Now Marcel Dion unloads a shot that Berneur handles, and the period is over. Well, Howie, it's a one-goal difference after one period. That's the way it's been to the whole series.
Certainly a great period of hockey. Berneur again made one or two great big stops, but the Vancouver Canucks, late in the game, carried the play to Los Angeles. I was quite surprised.
We have two big periods to go, so this game isn't over by a long shot. But important for Vancouver, they won the first period.
Los Angeles outshot Vancouver 12-10 in the period, and now here is Steve Armitage.
Thank you, Jim. Coming up during our first period intermission tonight, we'll have a playoff recap with highlights from Monday night. I'll be talking to the Vancouver Canucks' Ivan Boldarev, and we'll update the playoff scoreboard with highlights from the Boston Garden. And so the score at the end of the first period is Vancouver 2, Los Angeles 1.
Dick Irvin reporting on the Adams Division final between the Quebec Nordiques and the Boston Bruins. And Monday night at the Colisée in Quebec City, it was hard to figure out sometimes if you're at a hockey game or a sing-song. Over 15,000 fans had a ball as their team scored early and often, the Nordiques romping to a 7-2 victory to even the series, a series that so far has been strictly a home ice affair. The Bruins winning the first two games in Boston, the Nordiques coming back to take the next two in Quebec City. An omen of things to come in the first period. Near the halfway mark, Marian Stastny combining with his brothers Anton and Peter to give the Nordiques a 1-0 lead. The Stastny brothers combined for a total of 7 points before the game was over. And then just 34 seconds later, Wolf Payma made it 2-0. He had won the game in overtime the night before with a low shot from the right side. This time he fools rookie Mike Moffat with a higher shot. 2-0 Quebec at the end of one. And then the Nordiques really put it away with some goals early in the second period. This one made it 3-0. Real Cluche set up by Hickey and Marois, beating Moffat again with a high shot. Rogie Vachon played the final period in the nets for the Bruins. So the Nordiques even the series. It's on the table as they head back to Boston. This is Dick Irvin reporting on the Adams Division final between Quebec and Boston.
In Game 4 at Madison Square Garden, the New York Rangers hoped for an inspirational lift by starting off an injured goalie, John Davidson. But midway through the game, Davidson could barely lift himself. After tearing a hamstring muscle, he was out of the game in favor of Steve Weeks. Davidson did start well with saves like this. He had absolutely no chance on the first Islander goal. Ryan Trottier to Clark Gillies. One good Davidson save, but there's the open net for Mike Bossy in a 1-0 Islander lead. With Davidson in goal, the Rangers did play well. Ron Duguay came down from Mark Pavlich's pass to tie the game after one period. The Islanders then had a goal disallowed, and some controversy here as the Rangers took the lead on Don Maloney's goal. The Islanders weren't sure it was in. Shortly thereafter, the Islanders did tie it. Dennis Potvin's goal. And this is the end for Davidson. And the beginning of the end for the Rangers as Clark Gillies scores, and there Davidson injures himself, and Steve Weeks comes on. The Rangers do battle back to get a tie early in the third period. Cam Connor from Nick Patil, an unlikely combination. But at the 12:27 mark of the third period, this goal by Dwayne Sutter is the winner. He scores on Weeks. An empty net goal gave the Islanders a 5-3 win. In Chicago, the Blackhawks took a 3-1 lead over the St. Louis Blues, despite the fact the Blues opened the scoring. Mike Crombeen beating Murray Bannerman. Then two straight power play goals by Dennis Savard. This, the second one, put the Blackhawks in front 2-1 at the end of one period of play. Killing a penalty, Larry Patey ties it for St. Louis. And that's the first of 3 straight goals by the Blues. Ralph Klassen puts St. Louis back on top, and rookie Perry Anderson scores here. But then the Hawks bounce back. Rick Patterson scored. And then Troy Murray, the rookie from the University of North Dakota, ties the game at 4. That was the score after 2 periods. In the third, the Blackhawks, with almost 18,000 fans looking on, take the lead. Ted Bully's deflection in front of the net. Here's the completion of Savard's hat trick. Bully scores again. Hawks win 7-4.
And if you've been surprised with the scores out of Stanley Cup 82, how about that score out of the World Championships in Helsinki today? Canada 3, Italy 3. Coming up next, a conversation with the Vancouver Canucks' Ivan Bolarev. Hockey Night in Canada continues in just a moment. After one period of play here at the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver, the Canucks are leading the Los Angeles Kings by a score of 2-1. With me now in our intermission studio, an integral part of the Vancouver Canucks this past season and in the playoffs, Ivan Bolarev. And Ivan, a comment on the period?
Well, seems to be going our way. You know, we wanted to get up on them early. When they got that early goal there, we were kind of, I don't know, we had trouble coming out there at the start, and you know, we got it going now.
They seem to play better on Coliseum ice.
Well, they're a good hockey club. They're very explosive, and you know, they played pretty well in L.A. The last 2 games. They outshot us badly both games, and Richard came up big. But you know, they're a good hockey club. They play good anywhere.
Ivan, you've been around the NHL for some time now. You've seen your share of playoff action. What is it about the Vancouver Canucks? Is it an attitude?
Well, it's an attitude. It's you know, we've got that winning attitude, which is. You know, we ended the season the way it's written, the way a team that has a chance to win in the playoffs should end the season, and you know, we just kept it rolling.
How important a role has Roger Nielsen played?
Well, you know, you can't say enough about Roger. He's got us prepared for every game. He goes over every player on their team, and we have 2 meetings on the day of the game, and. You know, everybody knows what they have to do, and he's very positive, and you know, he's got everybody thinking the same way. It's no secret that you and Harry Neal have had your differences over the years. What has Roger meant for you? Well, it's you know, I'm just rolling along just like everybody else, and I've got that feeling that we can go all the way. Are you going into the next round? Are we going into the next round? I hope so. I hope we're going in there tonight. Okay, thank you very much. My guest has been Ivan Bolarev at the Vancouver Canucks. Coming up next, the playoff scoreboard with highlights from Boston. We'll return with the Stanley Cup playoffs in just a moment. Jim Nill and Doug Hallward scoring for Vancouver. Bernie Nichols, a lone goal for the Kings. Vancouver leading Los Angeles 2-1 after one period of play here at the Pacific Coliseum. Now let's go to the Boston Gardens. And tonight, the scene of another upset in Stanley Cup 82. Les Nordiques over the Bruins. Here's Dick Irvin.
This is Dick Irvin reporting on the Quebec Nordiques Boston Bruins Adams Division Final. A final series that had been a home ice affair all the way through until Game 5. When the Nordiques went into the pressure cooker of the Boston Garden and surprised the Bruins and the capacity crowd with a hard-earned 4-3 victory to take a commanding 3-2 lead in the series, heading back to Game 6 at the Colisée in Quebec. The teams were tied 2-2 late in the second period when the Nordiques scored a very big goal, as it was Cloutier finishing off a play with Goulet and Hunter. Watch Hunter setting up Cloutier. The defenseman falls. Moffat, the goaltender, out of position. Cloutier with a wide-open net. The first star in the hockey game was Peter Stastny, who had 2 goals and 1 assist for the Nordiques. And early in the third period, watch this shot, top corner, short side. And that gives the Nordiques a 4-2 lead. Rick Middleton has scored some lovely goals in the playoffs this year, and he came through with another one. A couple of minutes after that goal by Peter Stastny, it's Middleton cutting in from the left side and fooling goaltender John Garrett as he slips the puck home near corner with the forehand. But from then on, the Nordiques held on. Their defense played an excellent hockey game in the third period. The Nordiques win it 4-3 to lead the series 3-2. This is Dick Irvin reporting on the Quebec-Boston Adams Division Final.
Taking a look at the 2 other scores in Stanley Cup 82 tonight, there you see the Rangers defeating the Islanders by a score of 4-2. The Islanders continue to lead that series 3-2, but it's back to Madison Square Gardens for Game 6. In the Norris Division, The game there is in overtime. Chicago 2, St. Louis 2. Denny Savard and Mulvey scoring for the Blackhawks. Perry Anderson and Jorgen Pettersson scoring for the Blues. All right, let's join Gary Dornhofer and Howie Meeker upstairs.
All right, thank you, Steve. And we're just waiting for the teams to get on the ice. And Howie, a slow start for the Canucks at the beginning of the game, but then they seem to catch fire and take it to the Kings.
Well, I agree with you 100%, and had they not caught fire, it could have been a long evening. That second goal, as I said earlier, was very, very important, and the Canucks had to get it in order to get back in the game.
Well, L.A. got off to that 1-0 lead, the interception off a bad pass, and Nichols made sure of that one. But then the Canucks executed well from inside their own zone, but the guy that made it possible, after Bellin comes out with a good pass, Lupul will find Nil. And
Lupul's pass there, head up all the way. You can't hit the target unless you have your head up. He put it right on Nil's stick, and Nil walked in and got Lazard going the wrong way, and bang, it was in.
And then how about the face-off? You know, Gerdine, not only does he get the face-off, but once he gets the draw, he's in front of the net doing the screening.
That's right, and certainly when you take a face-off, win or lose the draw, you run interference on that centerman. You don't let him go in front of the net, and that's just what happened. He allowed him to go in and do a little screening.
Well, of course, for the L.A. Kings, it's important that they battle back. They don't want to start going in the summertime now, so I'm sure that they want to play that aggressive, good forechecking style of play. Okay, Jim, how about the summary?
All right, the goal by Bernie Nichols was unassisted to start it off. Nil's great goal you saw from Lupul and Belland. Hallward's goal assisted by Gerdine, who won that face-off, and you see the Kings out shooting the Canucks 12-10. A lot of penalties in the period. Dave Newell handed out 36 minutes to Vancouver, 34 to Los Angeles, 70 minutes of penalties in the period. The Los Angeles Kings, coached by Don Perry, assisting coach is Brad Selwood. And there's the lineup they're throwing at the Canucks to try and stay alive in this best-of-7 series. The Canucks coached by Harry Neal, although he's away scouting right now as Roger Nielsen is coaching the team now. Ron Smith, his assistant. And not dressed for the Canucks tonight are Kevin McCarthy, Yuri Bubla, Rick Lance, Andy Schlievener, Joe McDonnell, B.J. McDonald, Ole Brasser, Jerry Miner, and Tony Curry. Players on the roster, but not dressed.
Jim, you noticed that the L.A. Kings are taking a few long shots on Brodeur, and Coach Don Perry had talked about that prior to the game. He said, we noticed that Brodeur does a little bit of wandering, doesn't really get into a set position, so we're going to try a few blasts from the blue line, but so far there hasn't been anything materialized from that area. And I don't think they're going to beat him from the blue line.
Definitely not. The referee is David Newell. The linesmen are Bob Hodges and Kevin Collins. And there are penalties in effect to Harold Snep and the Kings' Dave Taylor as we're starting the second period with an icing call. Our Hockey Night in Canada crew, although one of our regular members, Bill Patterson, is not with us tonight. He's, I'm sure, watching, and we'd like to say a special hello to Bill. He's on the sick list, and we hope you're enjoying the telecast, and we certainly miss you being part of the crew tonight.
Oh, we certainly do. You know, when you walk into the production room downstairs, Bill's always got all the information for you, programs, all the latest stats, and he gives it to you with a smile, and the last thing he says, have a good game, gang. Miss you, Bill.
Lupul and Dion on this face-off in the Vancouver zone. Richard Brodeur and Mario Lazard, the goaltenders. Canucks leading 2-1 and leading the series 3-1. Campbell passing just behind Lupul. Korav with the puck, more checked by Lupul. Lupul almost stole the puck. Lupul, although he has that baby face, had his 23rd birthday yesterday. This is Marcel Dion coming in with Korav. Korav right in. Puck knocked off his stick. Lupul picked it up. Jim Nill. Korav cutting him off. Nill shoots, missed the net. Campbell keeping it in. Nill and Korav bump together, and Nill goes down. Dave Lewis. Dion coming in on Eldebrink and Campbell. Drop pass. Bozek ran into Eldebrink, into the line. Gerdine with the puck. Steps back on. So's Taylor. Their penalties are over. Charlie Simmer just failed to get loose. Doug Hallward turning with the puck. Williams couldn't pick it up. Gerdine. Good pass to Smeal. High with a slap shot. Gerdine must have eyes in the back of his head as he spotted Smeal there. Great pass. Bouncing puck. Smeal couldn't get a stick on it. Number 8 is Dan Bunner of the Kings, sliding it into the Canuck zone. Icing waved off. Doug Howard with the puck. Eldebrink from the corner, hit by Bonner. Williams passed it back. Now he clears it out. Gradin and Hardy are chasing the puck. Mark Hardy checked by Thomas Gradin. Hardy got away from him. Good backhand pass to big Charlie Simmer. Simmer in on Howard. Bonner going for the front of the net. Williams checking Taylor. Taylor and Williams tangled up near the corner. Gradin got the puck away from Dan Bonner. The score is 2-1 Vancouver as Gradin comes in. Gradin, back pass. And Smeel was interfered with by Hardy, and he couldn't get to the pass. Dan Bonner, recovering his balance, gets the puck to Jimmy Fox. Lost it to DeLorme, to Bolderev. Bolderev shot. Lassard handled it easily. Rick Chartrand takes over. Almost lost it. Passed out by Hardy. Bonner coming in with Fox. Bonner shoots, partially blocked. Bonner tied up by Neil Bellin. Puck is put off the glass. Bolderev to Rhoda. Missed the check from Wells, but lost the puck. Hey, it's good action.
Good, tough end-to-end hockey, isn't it? That's great.
Jay Wells, forecheck by Ron DeLorme. Now Larry Murphy coming up to John Paul Kelly. Neil Bellin takes over. To Rhoda. Bolderev just failed to get to the loose puck. Bernie Nichols failed to get loose. Bolderev kept it in. Now Jay Wells passes to Larry Murphy. To Kelly. Checked by Nill. Nichols coming in on Steps and Bellin. Fox reaching for the puck. Larry Murphy centering it. And a good job by Nill checking Kelly in the slot, so he didn't get the shot. Fox from back of the net. Centering it. Brodeur made a great save right in the slot. A big stop by Richard Brodeur. Back comes Bolderev with Rhoda. Bolderev trying to go through. And Lassard just tipped it aside. A hit by Darcy Rhoda. Nill shoots. Lassard stops it. He scored! Darcy Rhoda. 3-1 Vancouver.
Well, you can spell that coming, could you, Gary? At one end or the other, you really didn't know which end it was going to get through into that. But tremendous pursuit and determination by Darcy Rhoda. What a play. Take goal for Nancy.
It's the goaltending that's the difference. On the other end, Brodeur had just made a fantastic save against Nichols, and Bolderev makes a good move. But look at... Oh, there's the giveaway. Nill lets the shot go, and you talk about that second man, how important it is to go for the net. Well, Rhoda does that, and he's rewarded with a goal.
Well, he went into the corner, took a man out, and it's that man's duty to pick him up. You just can't turn your back on him and let him come out in front. Watch here. Number Nichols had to get him. Look where Nichols goes. Look where Rhoda goes. That's the difference between a pro and an amateur.
Darcy Rhoda's third goal of the playoffs. Vancouver now leads 3-1, and it's very rare in this series to see either team ahead by 2 goals. The only assist on the goal was to Jim Nill, who's had a very strong game. Now the puck is coming up in the King zone. From the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver, this is Stanley Cup 82 on CBC. Darcy Rhoda, formerly with the Hawks and the Flames, a first-round draft choice of Chicago from the Edmonton Oil Kings. He's from Prince George, British Columbia, and he's just scored his 3rd goal of the playoffs. Canucks lead 3-1, and Vancouver's fans are usually quiet, but they're not quiet tonight. Steve Bolton centering it. It's tipped away. Porav shoots and deflects high. Stan Smeel coming out with Fraser and Gradin. Smeel shoots and deflects high as Dave Lewis tips it up into the seats.
Well, I don't think Gary anyone will question the offensive ability of these young kids coming out of junior. They skate well, they handle the puck well, they shoot extremely well. Now, what they don't know how to do certainly is how to play defense or how to play the game without the puck. If we can back that up sometime later, fellas, and show us again where Rhoda went into the corner, took Nichols, and then Nichols hit it for the puck instead of picking up Rhoda. That's the difference, wouldn't you say?
Yes, absolutely. But, you know, Don Perry touched on the goaltending. He said Brodeur has certainly played better than ours, and there was a good case where Lassard could have had that shot. He bobbled it with his glove, and that's supposed to be his strength. And Darcy Rhoda went after it and knocked it in the net.
And as you said a little earlier, Fox made a great pass to Nichols, and Nichols was right home free in the slot. Brodeur come up big.
Nearing the 5-minute mark, second period, Vancouver 3, Los Angeles 1. Mike Murphy's pass in the Vancouver zone as Snips is taken out by Dion. Snips keeps working for the puck, gets it to Williams. Failed to get it out. He's brought up by Gary Lupel. He's got Jim Nill on his right. Lupel, drop pass, intercepted by Dion. Dion into the Vancouver zone. It was Evans who intercepted the pass and started Dion away as those two stocky forwards rushed to the Vancouver line, but they were offside.
You know, you just mentioned about Gary Lupel's 23rd birthday. Well, I think it's only fair that we announced an anniversary. Yesterday, Howie and Grace, two dear friends of ours, 36 years. Congratulations, old boy.
Thank you very much. I'll tell you, I got the greatest wife in the world to put up with me in hockey for 36 years.
I'll second that.
I'll third that.
You haven't been home one day since the playoffs started.
My wife and I get along so well. No time to argue.
The kids will say, "Hey, Mommy, who's that fella?"
Yeah.
Williams moved in against Dion on the face-off. The Kings get possession. Mark Hardy's shot turned aside by Richard Brodeur. Harold Snips puts it high off the boards. It came back to him off of Evans. And the puck is cleared down the ice. Icing might be called. Race for the puck. Lassard has to play it because Lupel hustled in there. Out comes Darrell Evans with Dion. Dion's pass tipped away by Snips. Snips cleared it to Nill. Lupel yelling for the pass, but I'm sure Nill can't hear him in the roar of the crowd. Mark Hardy. Mark Hardy hooked by Lindgren. Checked by Snips. Tiger Williams goes to the puck. Took a bump as he cleared it out high. We've just passed the 7-minute mark of the second period. Vancouver 3, Los Angeles 1. The Kings opened the scoring, but the Canucks have come back to score the next 3. That's the standing in the series, 3-1 in Vancouver's favor. Rhoda throws a check on Hardy. The sticks come up. Here comes Ivan Boulder. A shot. Trips high. And they're still pumping out there, Hardy and Rhoda. As in comes Dan Bunner to Larry Murphy. Shot caught by Coley Campbell. Larry Murphy centered it, and it comes out to center ice. The place is going crazy. If we're shouting it, so we hope you can hear what we have to say. And look at these players. Rhoda and Wells exhausted at the end of the shift. Tonight's Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from Vancouver. The Kings and the Canucks, the battle of the West Coast. I'm Jim Robson with Gary Dornhofer, Howie Meeker, Steve Armitage, and the Hockey Night in Canada crew at Vancouver's Pacific Coliseum. Dave Newell and his linesman, Bob Hodges. Darcy Rhoda, who showed the happiness of scoring that big goal. And there's Harold Snips, who's has that eye patched up. I think must have some stitches there picked up in the first period to go along with all the bumps, bruises, aches, and pains. This time I'd like to pass along a special hello to all hospital patients and shut-ins and the pensioners, the many fans who can't get out to hockey games, but enjoy the sport and enjoy Hockey Night in Canada. A special hello to you shut-ins tonight. There's Jerry Korab at the Kings bench. I wonder what the Kings are thinking now, Gary.
Well, it's very important to them that they start getting a few scoring opportunities. The shots are even at 14, but the Canucks have certainly taken over in this period, not only shots, but also territorially. And I think Darcy Rhoda has a lot to do with that. I've never seen them so motivated. What they're causing is, I think, frustration on most parts of the L.A. Kings. Dion had the puck. Rhoda went in and took it off. And as Rhoda disengaged, Dion just two-handed him as hard as he could across the back of the legs. And Rhoda, instead of going back, held his calm and cool and give him a dirty look and skated away.
Oh, yeah, I think that's important to the Canucks now. They can't afford to take bad penalties. Take a hit, take a cheap shot for the win.
A moment ago, referee Dave Newell was talking on the telephone to Dutch Van Deelen, the supervisor of officials, about something. A loose puck in front of Brodeur, swept away. A shot by Wells, blocked. Ron Delorme is chasing the puck. Larry Murphy beats him to it. Still in the King zone. Dan Bunner Finds Junior in Brandon. Into the Vancouver zone against Campbell. Verdura turned it aside. Jay Wells from the corner. Simmers, pass blocked from behind the net. Bellin couldn't get the puck out. Jimmy Fox working for it, but the Canucks bring it out. Ivan Boldurin turning with the puck. Excellent stick and intercepted by Jimmy Fox. He shoots. Verdura took it on the chin.
Vancouver Canucks have to be very, very careful not to go to the attack too much and start getting three-men caught. 2 or 3 times now the LA Kings have had 3-on-2s, and they have great offensive ability. They're going to score goals if they get many more of those.
Well, it's that discipline again that we're talking about. And how about that? The St. Louis Blues stave off elimination as Bernie Federico scored in sudden death overtime at 3:28. So the series will now move back to Chicago for game, 6?
We have played 7 minutes and 50 seconds of the second period. The score is 3-1 for Vancouver. Eldebring to Gradin. His pass tipped away. We haven't seen anything of Moline and Halinka since early in the game. Play in the Los Angeles zone. Korav with the puck. Missed the check by Stan Smeel.
He threw a snowman 6 feet high. Don't blame him.
Hitting all over the ice. Smeel putting it in for Fraser. Fraser shoots and blocked by Lewis. Fraser put it behind the net. Gradin from the corner. Smeel shoots. Doug Howard to Fraser. Centering it. It's blocked. Smeel to Gradin. Centering it. No one there. Howard keeps it in. Good pressure by Vancouver. Lassard scoops it away. Smeel hits Korav. The crowd going for that. Fraser centering it. Fraser from back of the net. Centering it again. It went to the corner. Lewis clears the puck. Gets it out. Finally. Tremendous pressure by the line of Gradin. Fraser and Smeel back together again. Due to injuries to some of the forwards, that line has been reunited for Vancouver. Hasn't played together that much in the series. John Paul Kelly with the puck. Pass too far ahead. Campbell to Crawford. To DeLorme, who's out there on right wing. Crawford on left wing. Boldurin at center. The Kings have Doug Smith at center, and now Los Angeles ice the puck. Campbell getting to the puck, icing on Los Angeles. This is Hockey Night in Canada from the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver. 1 week from tonight, the Fifth Estate moves to a new day. And the subject under investigation is bankruptcy, the plague of bad economic times. Financial death on the Fifth Estate next Wednesday night here on CBC. What do you know? It's quiet in here for a couple of seconds.
They just heard that commercial. Here we got the happiest thing going in the world, and you bring on bankruptcy.
Jimmy, we understand that Moline is on the bench. He has not participated in play in this period, but he is available.
He's in pain. Look at the official.
Yes, Dave Newell, the referee, thinks he has a broken bone in his foot. And they've asked for the standby official, Bruce Hood, to lace up his skates. That's why Dave Newell went on the phone to the supervisor of officials, Dutch Van Dielen. As Newell is having a difficult time skating, and Bruce Hood may have to replace him.
I'll tell you, he referees so well, just give him a rocking chair and put him in center ice.
Play in the Vancouver zone. The score is 3-1. Canucks lead the Kings as Bellin gets it on the boards for DeLorme. Took a check and the puck comes out. Steve Bozic, the hero of the Kings' victory in the series with an overtime goal. Now Mark Crawford coming in. Hit by Chartrand. Keeps going. Centered the puck. Nobody there. And big Dean Hopkins really hit Crawford in the corner. Steve Bozic takes a shot. Slides the puck in front. It's tipped just wide. Doug Smith trying to center it. Boldurin scoops it to the corner. Campbell goes after it. Campbell's made quite a comeback. He's got a bad knee, but he's in the lineup tonight. Ivan Boldurin makes a move. Boldurin tripped up. Slides into the goal. Play goes on. The fans thought there could have been a penalty there when Boldurin was tripped up. Larry Murphy rushing with the puck. Lots of time in this contest. Can they keep up this pace? Loose puck in front, taken away by Tiger Williams. Lupo is racing down the right boards. In goes Williams to Lindgren. Weak shot. Lazard almost misplayed it, but he stopped it after it tipped off the goalsman. With the score, Vancouver 3, Los Angeles 1. This is Stanley Cup 82. Nil, Hallward, and Rota have scored for Vancouver, as Stan Spiel just shot wide. Bernie Nichols of the Kings had opened the scoring. Rolling puck steered by Brodeur to Lindgren. To Williams. To Lupo. He's got Spiel with it. Lupo shoots. Big save by the defenseman. Dave Lewis blocked the shot. Harold Smith shoots. Loose puck. There's going to be a penalty in front of the net. I think Tiger Williams is going to get the penalty. The Tiger is going to get the penalty. Hockey Night in Canada will continue in a moment.
The Canucks again applying the pressure. Look at the top of your screen as Tiger Williams takes the feet from under Mario Lazard. He was called on the slash. So LA, if they're going to get back in this contest, this would be a good opportunity for them on the power play.
Oh, you're right. I can see a slight deterioration in the checking by the Vancouver Canucks. When you do take a penalty like that, it just opens the door.
The Kings are 0 for 2 on their power play tonight, but they've scored 13 power play goals in this year's Stanley Cup playoffs. They trail 3-1, have a chance to get back in it right here. Snips chipping the puck over the glass and out of play.
Well, I've watched Lars Lindgren play hockey for 3 years, and I've never seen him check so well, handle a puck so well, and appear to have so much fun. And the guy you're looking at there, if anything, is playing better than Lindgren. Just having a super series. There's Lindgren, who I always thought had the potential to play the way he's playing, Gary, but not that enthusiasm.
Well, they're all showing it now, Howie. You know, you said yourself, if you can't inspire or get yourself going for a playoff game, you have no business being here. But both teams playing excellent hockey. They're triers, and that's all you can ask for.
Kings on a power play. Larry Murphy with the puck. Mike Murphy, no relation to Larry. Back to Larry Murphy. Over to Darrell Evans. Now to Bernie Nichols. Bothered by Lindgren and Nil. Nichols centering it. The high bouncing puck knocked aside. Lindgren got it to Nil. Nil scoops it out.
Good play by Nil. He got good control on the boards. Had a look. The defenseman was pinching in. Just shot it up the center of the ice.
1:05 left in the Vancouver penalty to Williams. The score is 3-1 Vancouver as Steve Bozic rushes into the Canuck zone. Bernie Nichols checked by Harold Snips. Berdine steered the puck away. Here comes a Los Angeles penalty because Lars Lindgren was tripped up by Steve Bozic. And they mix it up again. Bozic tripped Lindgren, so the teams are going to be 5 aside when the officials cool them off here. And there's Steve Bozic, the youngster from Castlegar, who's really unhappy with himself. Live from the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver, the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Now watch the left side of your screen as Lindgren is hauled down by Bozic, and that takes care of the power play. And I'm sure the youngster feels very badly about that. You take away any power play goal you might have a chance to get.
Gary, I think that was a little bit of a dive.
Are you putting me on the spot, Howie?
He didn't appear to have too much stick or too much arm on Lindgren. I think Lars was just tired and said, hey.
Why not? This would be a good opportunity to take a dive. Hey, go down.
You never know.
Well, there's Lindgren, who's come back to play after missing the 4th game of the series. Jimmy Fox is back in the Kings lineup after missing the 4th game. And you know, there's many players in the lineup who under some circumstances might not be playing, but they're going to be playing tonight.
Jim, I'm sure that both clubs, a lot of guys have the bumps and bruises because I've never seen so many hits game after game after game. And I think if the Canucks win tonight, they're going to use the few days off just to rest and heal.
They keep track of hits, of course, and Vancouver had 49 in the 3rd game of the series in Los Angeles. And that's a way above average, I would say, for an NHL game or even a playoff game. The teams are 5 aside as Lupo goes in against Taylor. And this is Mark Hardy with the puck. Mrs. Dion with the pass. Steps chasing the puck. Icing called in Los Angeles.
I'm Bobby Orr. Tonight on Hockey Legends, come to Jamaica and visit one of hockey's greatest goal scorers, Bobby Hull. That's on the second period intermission of tonight's playoff game.
Well, we look forward to seeing that. The Golden Jet, Bobby Orr, and I kind of wish we had been invited down there to sit on the beach and talk to those fellows, but we'll enjoy listening to them.
Those lovely breakers rolling in behind them. Wouldn't they be great on the surfboard? Oh.
Gary Lupul and Marcel Dion facing off in the Los Angeles zone.
When I do pro tips, we get to go to Quebec City, which isn't half bad, but...
Dion, who's had points in every game in the series, prior to tonight at least. Larry Murphy, Stan Spiel, and Ivan Halinka have also had points in every game in the series prior to tonight. Halinka was injured early in the game and has not returned. Lars Moline was injured in the game and hasn't been on the ice since. Lupul dumping the puck in. Nil going after it. Hardy takes him to the corner. Korath reaching in for the puck, but Nil does a good job to freeze it on the board.
A good play because he could have thrown it out in front of the net. There wasn't anybody in that slot area, so why not hang on to it and freeze it for the faceoff? Well, there comes Bruce Hood, and he will take over for Dave Newell, who is obviously in pain, had a lot of difficulty skating.
Oh, he's got a tough act to live up to because this has been a tough hockey game to officiate, and Newell has just done one heck of a job. He's let the guys play hockey, a little hooking and holding goal, but it's being fair. You had to almost dare him to call a penalty. I think done a great job. Hood's capable of doing the same.
Yes, sir. He's been around a long time, and that's one thing, Howie, that that really impressed about the officials. That both teams were hitting, so the officials let them hit as hard and as often as they wanted.
Well, we've had a couple of different medical reports on Dave Newell. The latest is that he suffered a pulled groin and is unable to continue. Earlier, they suspected it was a foot injury, but in either case, a rare thing in the Stanley Cup playoff. The official had to leave the ice. Dan Bonner. Weak shot went wide. So Bruce Hood has replaced Dave Newell as the referee. There's now a minute left in Bozek's penalty as Vancouver has now gone on the power play as the penalty to Tiger Williams has expired. Ivan Boldurev with the puck. For Stan Spiel. Lassard swept it to the corner. Mike Murphy tied up by Boldurev and Fraser. Neil Bellin shoots. Lassard makes the stop. Stan Spiel checked in the corner. Out comes Rick Chartraw to Jay Wells. The score 3-1 for Vancouver. And Wells is hit by Spiel, and Spiel goes to the puck. 20 seconds left in the Los Angeles penalty to Bozek. Bellin watched by Bonner and Murphy. Elderbrink to Fraser. For Spiel. Spiel and Chartraw racing to the puck. Boldurev from the corner. Neil Bellin with the puck. That's Elderbrink to Boldurev. To Bellin. Oh, good save. Fraser's shot stopped. Lassard just made a great save. The Kings are back at full strength. Neil Bellin shoots. Lassard makes another good save on Neil Bellin.
LA are still in the hockey game. Thanks to three super saves by the fellow you're looking at right now, Mario Lassard. And when he's right, they tell me he's as good as any goaltender in the league. Trouble is, he's inconsistent. But watch this great leg save.
Howie, only time will tell how important these saves by Lassard will turn out to be. But that next goal, if Vancouver would have scored that might have been all she wrote. But excellent pad work and the ability to cover up that rebound.
I don't know whether you folks are lucky enough to have a wide enough view of watching Stan Spiel when he attacks the puck carrier. He has literally scared, and I mean scared, the big guns, Korath, Murphy, Hardy, and Chartraw off the puck a dozen times. Watch them. They see him coming. Whoop. They get out of the way in a hurry.
The two number 23s on the face-off are Thomas Gradine and Doug Smith. Smith won the draw to Korath. A hard hit by DeLorme behind the play has the crowd reacting as Brodeur makes a save on a long shot. You have to watch away from the play for the hitting, and there's lots of it. DeLorme goes to the puck. Darcy Ruda to Thomas Gradine. Gradine. Try to center it, it's tipped away. This is Dean Hopkins. Sliding it in and goes in after it. Doug Hallward from back of the net. Larry Murphy at the point, keeping it in. Dean Hopkins centering it. A backhander. Tipped this wide. Gradine puts it off the boards. Didn't get it out. Hardy shoots. Brodeur caught it. Plays it to Roda. On the boards. Roda gets it out. Gradine can't handle the pass. Looks like icing. And icing is called on Vancouver. This Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from Vancouver. There's Bruce Hunt, 46 years of age, his 16th year as an NHL referee, taking over for Dave Newell, injured in this second period. Larry Murphy shoots right on, a rebound. We're doing stop that, a scramble. Oh, they just missed with that chance. Larry Murphy shoots again and hit his skate. Good pressure by Los Angeles. Tiger Williams got the puck out. 3 minutes, 35 seconds left in the second period, and it's still anybody's game. So that means it's still anybody's series. Larry Murphy from back of the net. Brodeur making 3 or 4 great saves in that last flurry. Smith hits Dion. Lupo steered the puck out. And it's Los Angeles coming on in the play right now. Vancouver just clearing the puck out from time to time. Now it's covered up to stop the play.
Now, Coach John Terry has mentioned that depending on how the game would go, would determine how he used his lines. Well, he's made one change. He's had Taylor now playing with Dion and Evans, and he'll possibly make more changes as the game goes on, and even go to the point where he plays his best players in the last period.
Well, I would think the last 5 minutes of this period, he's coming back with his 10 best offensive players on short shifts.
The Kings right now have Nichols, Kelly, and Bozak. Bolderev going to the puck, took a solid hit from Rick Chartraw, who knocked him down, and Bolderev gets up slowly. Bernie Nichols coming in on Campbell. Campbell stays with him. Bozak's backhander missed the net. Jay Wells winds up with the puck. Intercepted by Kirk Fraser. Coming in on Chartraw. Stan Spiel coming in with Fraser. Fraser shoots. It's knocked up in the air and put behind the net by Lassard. Fraser tried to center it. He had Smeal with him on the 2-on-1, but shot. And Mario Lassard made the save. Now the Kings ice the puck. Hey, these goaltenders are coming up with some big stops, Howie.
Oh, they certainly are, but I would like to see a replay of that, Gary. Fraser was the 2-on-1, and Lassard for the first time, but I think 6 feet on top of the crease, playing shot all the way. Fraser did shoot the puck with Smeal, a little dump pass to Smeal on his home free. Well, here it is here. Gary, just watch the top of the crease. Look how far out he is. A little pass through the middle there, and Smeal would have had a pretty good chance.
You know, and sometimes you can work that, Howie, where the puck carrier fakes a little slap shot. Now that freezes the defenseman, also freezes the goaltender, and just slip it back into that slot area. But you never go wrong by shooting the puck.
Hey, would you agree, gentlemen? The Canucks are very lucky to be 2 goals up at this point. The last 5 minutes, LA could have had 2 or 3.
Yes, they could.
Brodeur again. Richard Brodeur, he's been the story.
You know, I can't, I've mentioned it a few times, gentlemen, that the more I see of Brodeur reminds me of what Bernie Perrant did for our Flyer Hockey Club. He actually won the first Stanley Cup for us with his fine goaltending.
He's 29 years old. Played with Quebec in the WHA, property of the Islanders. Vancouver picked them up for an exchange of 5th-round draft choices with the New York Islanders. Korath, pass tipped away. Charlie Simmer, shadowed by Thomas Gradine. Gradine winds up intercepting the puck. Gradine's playing an awful lot tonight. Palinka and Moline have not played since early in the game. So Vancouver have 10 forwards able to play. So we're seeing an awful lot of players like Thomas Gradine and Stan Smeal.
Well, that's similar. The last game in L.A. was the same situation, Jim, so the Canucks are used to that.
Simmer shot. Brodeur made the save, and he barely stopped that shot by Charlie Simmer.
Well, DeLorme working himself along the boards near the blue line, trying to finesse the puck out, try to be cute with it, and bang. Just watch along the boards. Every opportunity, you got to drive it out. Look at that dinky little pass to someone standing still. You're just asking for trouble. Get it out, and then go on offense. You'd agree, would you?
Well, you know, you can't fool around in your own zone. A good point is the way the Canadians a few years used to play, but they would rifle that thing off the boards and get it out.
1 minute, 44 seconds left in the second period. Vancouver 3, Los Angeles 1. Vancouver leads the series 3 games to 1. The Kings have had several good scoring chances in the last few shifts, but Brodeur continues to make the big saves. Tiger Williams clearing the puck out. Looks like another icing against the Canucks as Dave Lewis from Kindersley, Saskatchewan, goes back to get the puck, icing on Vancouver.
We just had a report from the dressing room, and Dave Newell had a broken bone in his foot, and he said it's finished. He said it never did heal properly throughout the year, so that possibly will finish Dave Newell for the rest of the playoffs. Well, Tiger Williams is heading for the penalty box.
He's been there before.
It's familiar grounds for him.
Well, I can see him intimidating Taylor with the stick, you know, in the face now and again, but I think it was Jay Wells he went out there in center ice after the play. Just put the stick up underneath the chin and give him a gentle little shove, and Bruce Hood looked at it. Now here's the opportunity for the Los Angeles Kings to get out of this period, just 1 goal down instead of 2. A very, very foolish penalty.
Vancouver's had 40 minutes in penalties now. The Kings on the power play for the 4th time in the game. Darrell Evans to Larry Murphy. Passes to Dave Taylor. Larry Murphy unloads the shot. Collision coming up. Taylor and Snep. Lupel didn't get the puck out. Darrell Evans makes the shot. Hard pass to Dion. He's hooked. Jim Mill got the puck out.
Gary, good save. The Los Angeles Kings are doing a good job of killing the penalty.
They're killing it themselves, aren't they?
Shoot the puck.
Larry Murphy rushing with the puck. Smeal and Simmer. Smeal ignores the puck, takes the man. Larry Murphy from the point. Darrell Evans shoots. Loose puck. Hit the post. Jefferson, they score. Larry Murphy. You cannot stop the ball. It's 3-2.
Now that time it was tremendous pressure by the LA Kings, and you know, you can just give that hockey club so many opportunities on the power play, and sooner or later they're going to capitalize. But the guy that makes a good play here is Taylor, who was able to hang on to that puck, take a shot on net, and look where Murphy moved in, Howie, from the blue line in that slot area and just fired it home.
Well, he's an excellent young hockey player. Great sense, can handle the puck, and takes intelligence to get in there. This time in the game, he knew the puck was going to come loose possibly, and there he was. It came to him, and he put it in.
I want to ask you experts, should Lindgren have gone right out at the man instead of sweeping after the puck in that scramble in front?
Well, we'll have another look at it, Jim, and then make an expert opinion.
All right.
Thanks.
Larry Murphy on the power play at 19:23. The assists were to Charlie Simmer and Dave Taylor. And it's a brand new game. Now watch Lindgren here, the defenseman in the scramble.
He tried to block the shot. He's blocked half a dozen of them. There he gets back up
now.
again. He tried to reach it.
Should he have gone right at the player with shooting the puck?
Well, that's a decision he has to make, and you know, it's easy for us to second guess up here, but he's the guy that's in a position. He has to make that decision.
Darcy Rhoda just failed to get that breakaway pass, gets the puck, flipped it in front. Darcy Rhoda scores from the corner, and it's 4-2.
Well, all I can say is, how lucky can you be? And over the years, the thing I heard most, and I'm sure you did, is shoot the puck at the net. Shoot the puck at the net. There's a perfect example of what can happen when you shoot.
A good example, but you know what? Dave Lewis said it all. He just flipped his stick in the air. I can't believe it. A very harmless-looking shot, and Lassard just cold blew it.
It might have hit Korab. He looked at Korab. I think he started to make a move maybe to pick it out. I'd like to see that again. I don't see how he can blow on that one, but he did.
That one should have been stopped. My goodness.
It's now 4-2 for Vancouver. It's an unassisted goal by Darcy Rhoda. The time has run out. The second period is over. We'll see what happens in the third, and if overtime is necessary, then too. A lot of action. Little mix-up on the ice at the end of the period here. A lot of pushing and shoving, but doesn't look like anything's going to develop. After 2 periods, the score, Vancouver 4, Los Angeles 2.
When it comes to feeling young, a lot of it's up here.
3 years.
Great chicken through and through. Try McChicken, you'll agree. What a taste, discovery.
McDonald's McChicken sandwich is a hot chicken patty topped with creamy sauce, fresh lettuce, and a toasted sesame seed bun.
Oh, McChicken.
It's always big, hot, and tasty, too.
You deserve a break today. McChicken at McDonald's.
Chicken.
I thought you had it tuned up last week, Bob. I forgot. You forgot. Terrific. See, this wouldn't happen if you took her into a Texaco car care specialist regularly like I do.
Terrific.
See, I trust him. He uses top-quality Texaco products.
Right.
Puts in Haviland Supreme Oil. Keeps her running like a dream, you know?
Now you tell me.
Keep trying.
Trust your Texaco car care specialist to help you use energy more efficiently.
No wild place for a breakdown, Bob.
I've got a story for all you people who use MasterCard just to go shopping. I used it for my moving expenses. I got a new tire in Laval, a tow in Pembroke, and a battery in North Bay. I even got a cash advance when I ran short in Sudbury. And now that that's over with, I'll have a record of this unforgettable trip when I get my MasterCard statement. It's not like I use it every day, but I'm sure glad I had it on this trip.
MasterCard. Such an intelligent way to cope.
Thank you, MasterCard.
A very exciting finish to an unbelievable period of play here at the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver, and the Canucks are in front of the Los Angeles Kings by a score of 4-2. Scoring in the game so far, Jim Nill and Doug Hallward. Darcy Rhoda with a pair for Vancouver. It's been Bernie Nichols and Larry Murphy replying for the Los Angeles Kings. The score after 2 periods of play, 4-2 in favor of the Vancouver Canucks. Shots on goal in that period were 12-11 for the LA Kings. The Vancouver Canucks will meet the winner of the St. Louis-Chicago series, and of course, that right now has an unbelievable scenario shaping up for it. St. Louis won tonight by a score of 3-2, and Chicago lead the series 3-2. Game 6 in that one is now set for Chicago. We're unaware when that series will start, but we'll certainly keep you posted. It could start as early as Sunday, and it could start on Tuesday, providing, of course, the Vancouver Canucks get by the Los Angeles Kings. And joining me in the studio right now is a gentleman who would have a lot to say in favor of the Los Angeles Kings knocking off the Canucks and going there in place of Vancouver. Charlie Simmer. Charlie, an unbelievable finish to another very entertaining period.
Well, it's a funny series. We knew we were in for a tough one coming against Vancouver because they have a good club, good coaching, and they got a great goaltender this year. He's playing just super.
Charlie, you've had a tremendous series against the Edmonton Oilers, another very tough, frustrating series against the Vancouver Canucks. One of the things that impressed me about the LA Kings is they don't seem to know when to quit, but the uphill battles have been there every game almost.
We've been getting a lead and seem to have a little mental mistake, and it seems every time we do that, another team capitalizes on. We have a young club, and we're bound to make mistakes, but we've been trying to fight back every game.
Charlie, you're down 4-2. What's going to happen in the third period? You certainly haven't written this one off.
Oh, definitely not. We've come back from worse scores than this, but we really have to get very intense with our forechecking and our hitting. I think that's what we all played them very badly. The last 3 games, we've a lot of shots. We've been bumping them. They have a lot of injuries that we've been trying to work on, and they're another club to just keep on coming back. So I think this period we're just going to have to come out twice as hard because if we don't win this period, there's no tomorrow.
Kings coach Don Perry has broken up the Triple Crown line. He's got you playing with Danny Bonner and Hopkins. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think it's going to help our club a little bit. We still have it together for the power play, but they have a very intense checking line with Tiger Williams and Delorme and Lupo, so we figured we could break up the scoring and, circulate it around to other lines and get away from some of their checking anyways, and so far it seems to work very well. We've came out big against the last game against Edmonton, and we've been getting our share of points in this series, so it's frustrating to see it happen, but it's good for the team, and anything's good for the team is good for us.
Charlie, good luck in the third period. Give us another entertaining finish.
Thank you.
Charlie Simmer of the Los Angeles Kings has been my guest. Coming up next, the Hockey Legends, Part 1 with the Golden Jet, Bobby Hull. Hockey Night in Canada continues in just a moment.
There you go. 10 good pictures out of 10.
Let's see. Ooh, nice. Huh? Beautiful. But you only have 9.
10. See what a difference the sun camera makes? Polaroid 600 speed film and a piece of the sun can give you great pictures in any light.
Nifty. You always get 10 out of 10?
You can get 20 out of 20.
Well, that's all your fingers and all your toes.
That's 24.
Oh.
See what a difference it makes.
First the Pac-Man eats through a maze of dots. Then the Pac-Man heads for the corner spots. Then he eats his fill of a power pill. And then all those ghosts turn blue. Boo! And Pac-Man eats them all too.
Only Atari makes the Pac-Man home video game, and you can only play it on an Atari video game system.
Have you played Atari today?
His powerful rushes, dazzling style, and booming shot electrified hockey fans for over 2 decades. At the Half Moon Club in Jamaica, Bobby Hull visited Bobby Orr. Bobby Orr and the Hockey Legends is brought to you by the legend of quality and freshness, Planters Nuts. Tonight, the legend of Bobby Hull, Part 1.
Planters nuts are crunchy, delicious, tasty, munchy. Every day they're roasted, crunchy, golden toasted. Planters nuts, they taste fine, absolutely divine. For the very best nut, look for the well-dressed nut. Planters are real class act.
I was 10 years old, and that's when I started playing organized hockey.
A late start for you in organized hockey obviously didn't hurt you. Do you think it's something that the minor hockey people should look at?
Well, I really feel that we're pushing too much down the kids' necks all of a sudden. I think the kids should be allowed to go out, play shinny. We used to have 20 on a team, pitch a puck out there, and each guy would grab it, go as far as he could, stick handle, stop, turn this way, turn that way, and we learned all the basics of the game there. But now they're trying to teach the kids, skate, don't skate. The coach is hollering at them to skate. The other guy's hollering at them to shoot. The parents are getting involved. And a kid, I don't think at that early age, really has the capability of grasping all this stuff. He's having enough trouble trying to stand on his skates and propel the puck around.
Bobby Hull started early and graduated from the St. Catharines Teepees to the Chicago Blackhawks in 1957. By 1962, he had achieved his first 50-goal season and was rewriting record books, much to the delight of the Chicago Stadium fans.
Goes to the corner, passes it in front of Hay. He fakes the shot, gets it back to Bobby Hull. There's a tremendous shot by Hull. He scores! And Bobby Hull's 54th goal.
Your first and only Stanley Cup in '61. Thinking back, do you think you appreciated it enough?
Whether I was too naive then to realize how important it was, or whether I was too young, or possibly it might have been that I knew that there were going to be several more down the road, that I didn't really appreciate that one enough. And when I go back to it, I didn't even have a sip of champagne out of the Stanley Cup. I drank some beer out of Bill or Mike Wirtz's dirty old Danderfield felt hat and got sick that night and ended up going to bed early, and it didn't really hit me until several years later when we were unable to win a Stanley Cup.
You're a great storyteller. Story of Howe and Esposito.
Oh, we were playing in Detroit one night, Bobby, and we always played against the Howe line, and that's when Phil was playing center with Chico Mackey and I. And Howe and Esposito got jawing back and forth, and there was a little skirmish. And then on the way to the penalty box, of course, Howe stood aside, being the gentleman that he is, to let Esposito go into the penalty box first. Of course, that was because he could get out first. And Phil took one step into the penalty box, and Howe was about to follow him in. And Phil turned around and He's as big a man as Howe and looked him right in the eye and he says, "And just think, you used to be my idol."
How about
I think it's the first time Howe was ever speechless.
In 1972, you signed with the WHA. You surprised us all, and you started a hockey revolution.
The NHL was stunned as the Golden Jet left Chicago Stadium for the last time. In 16 years, Hull had scored 50 or more goals 5 times, been selected to 11 All-Star teams, scored 610 regular season goals, won 3 Art Ross trophies, 2 Hart trophies, a Lady Byng trophy, the Lester Patrick trophy, and established himself as one of the most popular hockey players of all time. Now, he was going to Winnipeg and the fledgling World Hockey Association.
What were the circumstances leading up to your signing with Winnipeg?
Well, actually, Bobby, I had 5 kids and had been in Chicago for 15 years, spent the prime of my life there. It was a great, great city. Still think it's the greatest city in the world and the greatest people in the world. And I didn't want to tripes halfway across the country with 5 kids going to a city I knew nothing about. They talked to my accountant, Harvey Weinberg, and they said, Harvey said to me, Bob, he said, they're really serious. What would it take for you to go to Winnipeg? I said, well, Harvey, if I go to Winnipeg, I want to play 5 more years. I think they'll pay me $250,000 a year in Chicago. I'm going to be out $1 million if I go there and the league folds. So I said, tell them I want $1 million up front and that'll get rid of them. I thought it would scare them off. I didn't feel anybody was worth that kind of money at that time. They said, don't do anything until we talk to you. But Chicago didn't really offer me a contract until 3 days before I signed the contract with Winnipeg. And they hand-delivered a contract. I said, guys, I said, I'm sorry, it's too late. I'd given my word.
The legend of Bobby Hull will be continued.
My pleasure to announce our selection of Canada's all-peanut team. For crunch, Mr. Peanut from Planters. For freshness, Mr. Peanut from Planters. For variety, Mr. Peanut from Planters. For taste, Mr. Peanut from Planters. Can you believe this? 9 years with the Bruins, surrounded by a bunch of animals. They're all a bunch of nuts.
Planters, Canada's all-peanut team.
I sure hope Grapes doesn't see this.
Bobby Orr and the Hockey Legends has been brought to you by the legend of quality and freshness, Planters Nuts.
We'll have part 2 of Bobby Hull and the Hockey Legends on Sunday or Tuesday. Coming up next, the playoff scoreboard with highlights from the Islanders-Rangers game. We'll return with the Stanley Cup playoffs in just a moment.
Team 17. NHL teams have been playing for this, their most coveted award. And since the first hockey telecasts 30 years ago on CBC, we've been following the action and watching them win. The Stanley Cup. The tradition continues on CBC.
Just a reminder, the Game 6 in our Los Angeles-Vancouver series will be seen Friday night, if necessary, of course, and that's a 7:30 start Pacific Standard Time. If not, we will have the Boston-Quebec game for you, and that's an 8 o'clock start Eastern Standard Time. All right, now let's pick up on the highlights of the New York Rangers against the Islanders. The scene, once again, was the Big Apple in New York. Of course, we moved out to the Nassau County Coliseum in Long Island. And it was Maloney opening the scoring for the Rangers at 8:47 of the first period to give the Rangers a 1-0 lead. Then John Tonelli with a blast, tipped in right there by Tonelli after that Potvin shot from the point. That coming at 18:09. That was a power play goal for the Islanders. That tied it at 1. And then Don Maloney, beautiful three-way passing play right here. 39 seconds into the second period, put the Rangers back in front 2-1. Dave Silk at 3:24 makes it 3-1 Rangers. A steal from Langerman. Dave Silk tucking it beneath the pads of Billy Smith, put New York up 3-1. And then Bob Bourne. This is a shorthanded goal for the Islanders. The pass out from the boards. And Bourne at the side of the net. That coming at 13:14 of the second. Then in the third period, the unsung hero for the New York Rangers, Cam Connor. What a series, what a playoff Cam Connor has had for the Rangers to make it 4-2 right there. And that's the way it ended. So it goes back to Madison Square Garden for Game 6. Now let's join Jim Robson.
Thank you, Steve. Play underway now in the third period. With Vancouver leading Los Angeles 4-2. Tiger Williams shot kicked out by Mario Lazard. This is Marcel Dion passing for Darrell Evans. The puck goes to Richard Brodeur. Brodeur and Lazard, the goaltenders. Evans crashes heavily into the end boards and gets up slowly. These players are battered and tired. I'm Jim Robson with Howie Meeker and Gary Dornhofer here at the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver. The Canucks led 2-1 at the end of the first period after the Kings had opened the scoring. It's now 4-2. 2 second period goals by Darcy Rota. Sandwiched in between was a Los Angeles power play goal by Larry Murphy. And the crowd, 16,413 plus, is chanting, "Go Canucks, go!" Gradin shot. Hit Lazard, and Gradin took a heavy hit. Well, he's fucking front. They score! Rick Fraser. And Thomas Gradin is injured. Gradin hurt back of the net.
I kind of think he's all right. I've seen the collision with number 12 make it. And certainly he rolled with a punch. If anything, all it's got is the wind knock out of him both away. But hey, he created the loose puck area, got it to Steele to Fraser. Fraser had pretty good time.
Well, those lively boards, Howie, and Gradin in constant pursuit. That's the strength of the Vancouver Canucks. They're always in pursuit. Fraser on the backhand makes no mistake.
Steele tried to bank that shot in. I'm sure he wasn't giving it to anybody. Just sprayed it, hit the heel of his skate, went in, but it hit the toe and went to Fraser.
Listen to the fans. They can taste it. Not only have the Vancouver Canucks won the first round, the first in their history against Calgary, but they're on the verge of winning the division championship.
Looking straight across, Jim, there's a fan going up the aisle with a Stanley Cup, silver and all.
Kurt Fraser scored the goal. Dean Hopkins with the puck. A delayed penalty coming up on Vancouver. A shot just whistles wide. Puck is centered. Here comes a Vancouver penalty. We've only played 1 minute and 45 seconds of this hectic third period. A Canuck penalty being called. Darcy Rota goes to the penalty box. From the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver, this is Stanley Cup 82 on CBC.
Now just over the center ice area, you see Darcy Rota apply the hook to Smith, and he'll go off. But Howie, that goal by Rota just before the end of the second period just seemed to take the starch away from the LA Kings. I mean, you could just see them sag.
I agree. Well, we might get back in it here with a man advantage. They trail 5-2. Have a good power play. Charlie Simmer from the corner. Evans to Larry Murphy. At the side of the net, Simmer blocked by Smith. Marcel Dion. A shot by Evans, blocked by Lupo. Evans' shot blocked the game. Lupo tripped up. Taylor back to the point. Shot missed the net. Larry Murphy, he had 6 shots in the first 2 periods, 4 in the second period. Winds up and lets it go. It's blocked. Evans passes. Intercepted by Lars Lindgren. Getting it out.
How about that Lindgren? Where's that pass all the way? Losing put in the air and makes the puck.
Good anticipation by Lindgren to intercept that play, but that's the way the Canucks have been playing. A lot of discipline, a lot of emotion.
Fraser's goal was assisted by Smeal and Gradin. Gradin was shaken up on the play, but he's out there now killing the penalty with Stan Smeal. So I guess Gradin is all right. Larry Murphy with the puck. He's been lugging it all night. Setting up at the point. Larry Murphy. Evans' shot tipped off Gradin. 34 seconds left in Rota's penalty. Larry Murphy shoots and tipped away off of Gradin's stick again. Gradin, great anticipation, blocking those shots. Larry Murphy to Dion. Put it in front. Brodeur has the puck. Gives it to Smith. Didn't get it out. Darrell Evans. Now Larry Murphy. Vancouver 5, Los Angeles 2, and it's still 5-2 as that deflection is covered up by Richard Brodeur.
He had 6 a second chance, and you notice checking in front of the net by Snips and Lindgren. Did they ever clean house?
I don't think I'd want to stand there either with Snips around, but you know the first few opportunities that the Kings had is the slap shot. The Vancouver Canucks were able to deflect it and get out of the way. And the last time Murphy tried a wrist shot, and he just put it in front of the net and deflected, almost went in. But there is a good example of how valuable Snips is. I mean, he allows Brodeur an opportunity to see the puck, which is so very important.
And, you know, a lot of people say Brodeur doesn't play well in the crowd, but I'll tell you something, he made some pretty great saves. I don't know how they see the puck.
There he is looking through that cage, and this Snips has just been magnificent, and he plays 30 and 40 minutes a night. You saw him hammering Steve Bozak there in front of the net. There's still 7 seconds left in Darcy Rutter's penalty. The attendance is announced as 16,413. That's a sellout, but there's probably even more than that in the building tonight. And there haven't been that many sellouts in Vancouver this season, or in the playoffs for that matter. Howard got the puck out, and then took a very heavy hit from John Paul Kelly, who knocked Howard down. Vancouver's back at full strength. Rhoda's penalty is over. It's still 5-2 Canucks. 4 minutes gone, third period. Campbell goes to the puck. Took a check back of the net from Kelly, who keeps hitting out there. A kid from Lloyd Minster. John Paul Kelly. Jerry Corrad, who cut his leg in the first period and has come back. Lost the puck, but the Kings come back. Bernie Nichols checked at the line. DeLorme dumps it out. And you'll see a lot of Vancouver dumping it out in the latter stages with a 3-goal lead. And that's been a very rare situation in the playoffs. The Canucks had very close games with Calgary, very close games with Los Angeles, but tonight they have a 3-goal lead. You know, during the Kings power play, they had 8 shots at the net, but were not credited with 1 shot on goal during the power play. And that's rare for the Kings power play. Mike Murphy shooting it wide. Simmer bumped. Mark Hardy with the puck. It's poked away. Rick Chartrand takes over. Canucks on a line change. Berdine, Fraser, and Spiel out there for Vancouver as Charlie Simmer races after the puck. Richard Brodeur scoops it away. Berdine missed the check along the boards from Bernie Nichols. The puck is kept in the Vancouver zone. Brodeur leaves the crease to put it to the corner. Dan Bonner with the puck. Lost it. Spiel controlling the puck to Kurt Fraser. Bumped by Chartrand. Smith dumped it in. Lassard put it to the boards. It's cleared out. Icing indicated. Mark Crawford goes to the puck. Tonight's Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from Vancouver.
A capacity crowd, and what a good view that is. It's a great way of picking up those 3-on-2s, 2-on-1s. Watch the execution, a good scoring opportunity. Clock just keeps winding down, 14:22, and players, especially on the Vancouver bench, continually watch it go down.
Well, the fans are sitting watching. I wonder how many of them thought the Vancouver Canucks were capable of playing this type of hockey. And watching the last 5 minutes, guys are making plays out there that I just shake my head. I said, where has he been hiding for 3 or 4 years? They are disciplined. They're playing great defensive hockey. They're hitting, and certainly they're playing very well on offense.
Mark Crawford with the forechecking to Stan Spiel. Kurt Fraser has hurt his arm at the bench, and that's why Crawford is out there now with Berdine and Spiel. You saw Fraser checking his right arm at the bench. This is Jay Wells. Trip. No penalty. Play goes on. Berdine tripped him up. Stan Spiel to Berdine, to Mark Crawford. Berdine anticipates so well where they're going out there, Howie.
She does.
Crawford didn't expect that pass. It almost went hit him on the stick. Lindgren clears it out. Elderbrink couldn't pick it up. Played very scrambly here right now as Dean Hopkins centered it. Smith tried to tip it away. Here comes Vancouver's Thomas Berdine with Mark Crawford. Crawford takes that excellent backhand pass. The shot caught by Lassard. And Berdine with another fine pass right on the stick of Crawford. Crawford, the rookie from Cornwall, forechecking Jay Wells, stays right with him. There are 11 rookies lefties in this game tonight. 7 in the Vancouver lineup, 4 in the Kings lineup. As that weak shot deflects to Richard Brodeur, who has to hold the puck.
Now, you know, you just have too much respect for the LA Kings. They have so much firepower out there. All you have to do is look back to the one game when the Oilers had that 5-0 lead, and LA was able to come back and win it in overtime. So we're not going to be hasty in giving the Vancouver Canucks a victory, although the way they're playing right now, it would take a minor miracle for LA to come back.
Hey, I'll tell you something. You can't give them the victory. They got 2 or 3 fellas in the lineup that have a habit of taking foolish penalties. But you just take one of them, and it's a 5-3 hockey game, then anything can happen.
Gary Lupul and Marcel Dion on the face-off. The shot was blocked, and that snaps to Lupul. On the right wing is Jim Nill, who has scored his first ever Stanley Cup playoff goal, and it was the first Vancouver goal of this game as Nill, who's been excellent along the boards, ties up Dave Lewis.
Howie, you had talked about discipline. Well, I haven't seen a 3-on-2 break given up by the Vancouver Canucks tonight. Now that's what you call discipline.
Visitors come here only to play golf.
I'll be here next week to play golf. You can count on it.
Never mind golf. Come on over. You'll catch me a sample at Parksville Golf.
Can you guarantee me that?
Guarantee you a sample.
I heard that you don't even go fishing. You go buy them in a store. Is that true? The fish market.
Jim Kingsley and I will take you fishing.
All right.
Guarantee you a sample or 2.
Well, I could tell by looking at those 2 guys, they're having a good time talking, but I can't hear a word you're saying.
Good.
Korath with the puck. Charlie Simmer slowed up at the line. Lupul chasing Korath. Lewis got it to Dion. To Taylor. Shot hit steps. Williams with the puck. Korath slowed him up. Lewis goes to the puck. Canucks doing a lot of short shifting now. 12:20 left in regulation time. It's 5-2 for Vancouver. Dave Taylor in on Colin Campbell. Shot stopped by Richard Brodeur. Neil Bellin up the middle. The pass tipped away by Rick Chartrand. Mark Hardy goes to the puck. Ron DeLorme goes into forecheck. Slowed him up, but Hardy makes a good move away from Boldurin. Now to Darrell Evans. Evans in on Bellin. The pass, return pass, just tipped away from Mike Murphy, who took a heavy hit. And there's going to be a Vancouver penalty to Ron DeLorme for charging Mike Murphy, who's down on the ice shaken up. This is Hockey Night in Canada from the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver.
Well, you'll see a hit that will happen momentarily with DeLorme riding Mike Murphy out of the play. He'll get called for charging, but Howie, you just had mentioned that a coach will never complain about that kind of a penalty.
Not at all. You take something physically out of the other team, and you'll find 99 times out of 100 they won't score on you. It's those stupid ones that kill you.
Larry Murphy with the puck. Kings on the power play. Darrell Evans shoots. It deflects. Wide. Snips. Getting the puck off the boards to Gradin. Can't get it out. Evans kept it in. Gradin took it away from him. Didn't get it out. He gets it again on the board. Snips goes to it. Didn't get it out. Gradin pokes it out.
Would you believe that? Like Gradin, he's persistent.
He's playing a great game tonight.
Oh, best I've seen in a long time.
He is an outstanding player. Gradin is the best player that's ever wore a Vancouver uniform, no matter what color they have. And they've changed their uniform color since coming into the league. Snips, hand on the puck. Steve Bozic behind the net. Bernie Nichols to Darrell Evans. Larry Murphy with the puck. Bozic shoots. Oh, hit Brodeur high and stunned him. Brodeur shaken up with a high shot.
Right in the face mask.
I think it caught him a right shot just underneath the chin. Hopefully it got him on the mat. I think he's all right, though. He fought it off, didn't he? It was going to come back and get on his feet and make the save. Here's the shot. Oh, dead center. Bullseye.
Remember a few years when you played, Howie, the goaltenders never used those kind of that kind of equipment, and you would have had a nice crease and a lot of stitches.
I remember one night we were in the 5th game in Detroit. We're leading the series 3-1. And Kelly broke 1-1 late in the game. And Kelly broke in all alone, went around me like a hoop around a barrel, and thrown it, but opened the puck, and it hit him right in the forehead, cut him for about 18. But we won the game, but I'll tell you, just amazing. How brave or how dumb.
Now, Howie, you know, you talk about face masks. Now, the one that Brodeur is wearing seems to be probably the best for getting hit. You know, if you have the type of mask that sits against your face, I guarantee you would have been cut on that play.
That's right. Cut and bruised, and
the birdcage, that's what Brodeur has on.
Well, they're cooler. You see more, and they give you better protection from both stick and puck. And as you see, if you'd have had the plastic type that they put on, the form-fitting, it probably would have hit him high in the cheekbone and bruised everything, and he ends up with a black eye. Can't play.
A standing ovation for Richard Brodeur.
In all the years I played, Jim, I've never heard the crowd this enthusiastic here. This seems to be such a quiet, it's like a morgue coming to play here in Vancouver. I love it. They're really getting behind their hockey club.
Well, I'll tell you, these fans will get behind any hockey club, any football club, any baseball club that works physically as hard as the Canucks have worked in the playoffs.
Well, they've been waiting a long time, and so have the Canucks to put something together. It certainly looks like this is the year.
I think fans are the same all over the world, particularly in Canada and the United States. You give them effort.
An honest effort.
Yeah, you give them entertainment. If you give them effort, they'll come out.
Richard Brodeur staying in after Larry Ashley, the Vancouver trainer, went out and worked on him. And, of course, Ashley's been a busy man and an excellent trainer he is. Larry Murphy, the Kings still on the power play. Murphy winding up. Taylor's shot. Brodeur stopped it. Dion back of the net. Checked by Snitz. Taylor to the point to Larry Murphy. Evans. Larry Murphy kicked away by Brodeur. It's still 5-2. Vancouver. Snitz gets it out.
You're better goaltender than that, will you? How you saw that last Murphy shot out there for goal.
27 seconds left in the Vancouver penalty to Ron DeLorme. As Dion is forced back by Smeal, and Dion is playing an awful lot in this game. A great player for the Los Angeles Kings. Smeal stays with him, works hard. The puck comes to the line, not out. Darrell Evans. Larry Murphy to Dave Taylor. Evans shoots, hit the post. Taylor's shot hit beyond. Brodeur has been very good, and on that shot he was lucky. The penalty's over. Loose puck in front. Vancouver's back in full strength. Smeal, DeLorme, and Gradine. In they come. Sam Smeal. Gradine. There's the puck. Great goaltending by Mario Lassard. Rob Thomas Gradine. And it's still 5-2. It's a little exciting in Vancouver tonight. That looked like number 6 for Vancouver, but Lassard came up very big. Darcy Rota makes a move, slides the puck in. 9 minutes, 15 seconds left in regulation time. Doug Smith shoots. Brodeur stopped it. Ron DeLorme from Cochin, Saskatchewan. To Darcy Rota. To Ivan Bolderev. In on Korab, who gets the puck and dumps it out. Mark Crawford. To Doug Hallward. To Neil Bellin. Bolderev rolling it in. Lassard. Hurried by Crawford. Crawford kicks the puck. Bolderev can't reach it. Here come the Kings. 18-year-old Doug Smith with the puck. Crawford back to check him off the puck. Anders Eldebrink around in the boards. Crawford left early, didn't get the puck. Bellin deflects it. It goes to the corner. Eldebrink ties up Hopkins. Puck loose in front. Crawford failed to get it out. Dave Lewis shoots. Kicked just wide. Darcy Rota to Mark Crawford, who can't get his skate on it. Lewis, the former Islander, to Jerry Korab. 8:12 left. The Kings keep coming on. I'm sure they think if they could get a goal at this stage, they'll get right back in it. But they trail by 3. Good stick handling by Jerry Korab. Kurt Fraser, who missed the shift earlier, back out there. Anders Eldebrink to Ivan Bolderev. Mark Hardy with the puck now. John Paul Kelly dumping it in. Hustles in after. Eldebrink put it on the boards. He got rid of it in a hurry. Jimmy Fox with the puck. Mark Hardy centering it. it out. As Kelly crashed into him, Brodeur made the save. Oh, they're hitting all over the place. Man, what an effort. They're earning every dollar of those salaries tonight. With the score, Vancouver 5, Los Angeles 2. This is Stanley Cup 82. The crowd here is singing goodbye, goodbye, but it isn't goodbye yet. 7:22 left as Kurt Fraser and Rick Chartraw go to the penalty box. Harry Neal is the coach of the Vancouver Canucks, but since his suspension, he's turned the reins entirely over to Roger Nielsen.
And what a job Roger Nielsen has done. He's brought a lot of unity to this hockey club. Well, Roger was assistant, but he didn't have the authority to run the show, so he was actually a new man behind the bench. But he seems to treat everybody the same. They've responded to what he's trying to do out there. And as we mentioned before, Howie, discipline is the key word.
Well, that's right. I think the most important thing he's done is kept the team playing within its capabilities. Hey, you know, we're not a great forechecking club. We're not a great scoring club. We get good goaltending. We play by a system, and let's keep the goals out of our net and wait for the breaks and hopefully capitalize on the majority of breaks. That they've done so far.
Everybody has a role to play, and they're doing it very effectively. He said, tell somebody to check, they check. Somebody to penalty kill, they do that. And then the outstanding goaltending.
The penalties to Kurt Fraser and Rick Chartraw. Miners at 12:38. So the teams are 5 aside. Vancouver's had 46 penalty minutes. Los Angeles 38. But the Kings' power play has only connected once in their opportunities, and they've had opportunities to get back in it. Smeal and Gradine, who have been standouts for Vancouver, and there have been many, continue to work for that puck, and Gradine winds up with it like he's done so often tonight to Elderbrink. In goes Gradine, and it went off his skate, couldn't get loose. Steve Bozic coming in on Lars Lindgren. Bozic slides it in front. Brodeur poked it away from Bernie Nichols. Gradine flipped it out. Elderbrink. Bozic whacked him with his stick. In fact, he broke the stick over Elderbrink, who kept right on going. Taylor trying to get loose. Bernie Nichols from the corner. Lupul winds up with the puck. 6 minutes, 14 seconds left in regulation time. The score is 5-2 for Vancouver. This is Jim Nill. Lindgren shoots, missed the net. Lars Lindgren put it off the target. Dave Taylor working hard, trying to get back in it. And what a great player Taylor's been this year for the Kings. And ever since he came out of Clarkson College and Levac, Ontario, was a 15th round draft choice. Dave Taylor. Korab shot, hit Snitch. Brodeur hangs on to the puck. The play goes on. Snitch gets it to Lupul. The crowd is chanting Lup, not booing. Lupul turned around by Korab, and Lupul whacks it with a stick, and Korab looks at him like he was some kind of mosquito. Out comes Hardy. Mark Hardy, offside at the Vancouver line. 5:24 left. Hockey Night in Canada will continue in a moment. Gary, you mentioned earlier, I've never heard a Vancouver crowd at a hockey game like this one tonight.
Well, they've been singing that song for the last 10 minutes. Goodbye, L.A., goodbye. And they're getting closer and closer. What it boils down to now, how he's about 3 shifts each for every line, and that's all she wrote.
Darcy Rota has scored 2 Vancouver goals. Jim Nill, Doug Howard, and Kurt Fraser have scored the others. Bernie Nichols of Los Angeles had opened the scoring, and Larry Murphy scored their other goal. Colin Campbell, checked by Dan Bonner. Knocked down by Mike Murphy. Howard got the puck out. It's sliding to Lassard. And even that draws a cheer. Mark Hardy trying to get something going for the Kings with 4:56 left in regulation time. It should be mentioned how many games in consecutive nights the Kings have had to play. They look tired right now. Both teams are tired, but Los Angeles even more so.
Because they have to come back. It's difficult to get 3 goals back when you've played the amount of games. That's 10 in 14 days for the LA Kings.
This is their 10th game, and that's straight. Ivan Boldurev shoots. Good save by Mario Lazard. Ron Delorme was hooked to the ice, and there's going to be a Los Angeles penalty. Live from the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver, the Stanley Cup playoff.
Now Dan Bonner draws a penalty, which may just put the LA in jeopardy of finishing their year. A hooking call. So for the next 2 minutes, the Canucks can certainly put the game out of reach with a goal.
Vancouver 5, Los Angeles 2. Canucks lead the series 3-1. Kings shorthanded. Vancouver's power play all season has had problems, and even in the playoffs it hasn't scored a lot, although they have had 3 power play goals in this series. None of them tonight. Neil Belland with the puck. He winds up with it again. It rolls away from him, and young Doug Smith almost picked it up. Anders Eldebrink. He's 21 years old. He's from Sweden. He came out of the Swedish 2nd Division to the Vancouver Canucks. He wasn't even playing in the elite league in Sweden, and here he is in the Stanley Cup playoff. And Neil Belland last year was in Kingston in the OHA. Of course, some of the others on both teams were, as these youngsters come into the league and play so well. Smeel bumping Chartrand. Puck is scooped to the boards. Belland shoots. Lazard battling all the way. Came out to make the save, and Lazard made some good stops in this 3rd period. The shots are 31-30 in Vancouver's favor. Smeel keeps hitting out there. Just ran Smith to the boards, and the Kings get the puck out. 3 minutes. 3 minutes, as you see, the time running down, and not a fan is leaving this building. They've waited 12 years for a high like this. Ivan Boldurev. To Ron Delorme. Lazard checked it away. Dave Lewis puts it off the boards. Doug Howard passes. And Jerry Korab broke it up. 12 seconds left in Dan Bonner's penalty. And these teams are really tired out there now. What do you say, Howie, the way they're bumping in out there?
I would have to agree, but sometimes they show those sides of it. They're still flying at each other.
Darcy Rota, the Kings are back in full swing. Ron Delorme's pass bounces off Dan Bonner, who just came out of the penalty box. 2:07 left in regulation time. Colin Campbell to Doug Howard. They change on the fly. Ivan Halinka and Lars Moline of Vancouver were injured on their first shift in the 1st period and haven't played since. So if you're wondering, if you're a Vancouver fan, where they are, they've been hurt. I believe all the Kings have taken their regular shift, although Jerry Korab got a skate cut in the 1st period and came right back. Tiger Williams in front of the net.
What we need now is Tiger to score a goal. We need a little more showmanship.
Jim Mill controlling the puck as Darcy Rota is being pinned in the corner by... No, it was Lupul who was pinned in the corner, and he was hurt as Hopkins took Lupul to the board. The shot blocked by Lindgren. It's frantic. Lupul has gone to the bench after Hopkins put him into the board. In comes Burdine. Tiger Williams missed the pass. Well, Gary almost got your Tiger Williams shot anyway. 1 minute and 4 seconds left. Let him yell. Lazard picks it out. Williams and Hardy tie it up. They're standing 55 seconds left.
Well, they're all saying now, bring on the St. Louis Blues of the Chicago Blackhawks.
This Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from Vancouver.
Shot, and he fell the wrong way. He had his face right in front of the shot, but it hit him in the shoulder. The rebound went to a Los Angeles player, and he hooked him and took the puck away from him, then made a heck of a pass to the winger, breaking out. What a game Lindgren has played.
Along with many others. especially in those yellow sweaters. They've had a great game when they wanted it, and Lassard in this period has kept the score down.
Yes, he has. He has made some key saves, but also he's let in a couple of easy ones, both of them by Rodas. And that one goal, Howie, just before the end of the second period, just deflated the LA Kings. It's very difficult to come back after allowing a goal like that.
Yeah, it's almost an impossibility. There's no way LA could have won the game. Vancouver had to give it to them, and obviously they're not doing that.
30 seconds. 5-2. Darcy Rhoda with 2. Jim Nill with 1. Doug Hallward with 1. Kurt Fraser with 1 have scored for Vancouver. A breakaway for Kurt Fraser. Fraser missed the net. Look at that time clock. They're all going to count it down. Bernie Nichols right in. Bernie Nichols missed from the short side. The game is over. Vancouver advances to the last 4 in the fight for the Stanley Cup.
How about that Brodeur, boy? He wasn't going to let that third goal in him. He had to eat it. He made 2 great saves at the end and come out of jail and challenge. Great little goaltender. Possibly the story of the 2 Vancouver series.
Well, our congratulations to the Vancouver Canucks. Through a lot of adversity, they hung in there as a team. A lot of pride, a lot of discipline, and they're very deserving of the Smythe Championship.
The Vancouver Canucks, winners of the Smythe Division Championship, and there's the main reason why Richard Brodeur and the Los Angeles Kings, who had themselves a great playoff after a disappointing season, the upset of the playoffs, beating the Edmonton Oilers and giving Vancouver a tremendous battle. And there's 2 of the standouts, Dion and Brodeur. Larry Murphy won a strong game for the Kings tonight, and they're all, I'm sure, saying something extra to Richard Brodeur.
Yeah, they are. You stoned us.
You couldn't have got sick or something in the playoffs, could you, youngster?
I bet they're all saying, keep up the good work. Next finals and go to the Stanley Cup Championship.
Howie, who would have believed that a defensive team, the way the game is played today, can come out on top? You know, and there's all the goals that are being scored, but the Vancouver Canucks showed that good defense can still win.
Oh, certainly, there's no doubt about it that good checking, good goaltending, good system behind the blue line dominates offense every time. It's just like pitching in the World Series. Good pitching dominates good hitting and good save run. 7 games now of the Vancouver Canucks playing defense, beating better offensive clubs.
This Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from Vancouver. Well, here in the Pacific Coliseum, they're sweeping up some of the debris thrown on the ice, and a lot of the fans don't want to leave. They're standing here looking at that 5-2 score. Vancouver wins the series 4-1. Let's start with you, Gary. A comment on a series that really had a lot of great moments.
Well, I just look at the amount of work that the Vancouver Canucks put into this series. It's not just 3 or 4 guys. It was all 20 of them. At every opportunity, they took the man, they hit, they checked. They did whatever they could to make things work for them. Very deserving of the victory.
Oh, I got to agree, but I certainly think the outstanding effort had to be by the defense and the goaltending. Hallward, Campbell, Elderbrink, Lindgren, Bellin, and Snepp played as good a hockey as any 6 defensemen on any team in the National Hockey League. They were just super.
Well, they're introducing the 3 stars as you see. And Darcy Rhoda, the 3rd star, after Jim Nill and Richard Brodeur, as they celebrate a Vancouver victory. This is Stanley Cup 81 from...
I made on Taylor, and I stand up pretty good on it, and I think from there, you know, just kind of get in the game, and after that was easy.
A lot of people keep wondering and keep saying out loud, how long can Richard Brodeur go on like this under such tremendous pressure?
Well, as long as the team wants to play with me, I'll be there for them anytime.
Okay, Richard, any preference, St. Louis or Chicago in the next round?
Oh, not really. We didn't have any preference between Edmonton and Los Angeles. I think it's the same right now. It's just, we'll go anyone right now. We don't care. We're just going to play our game. Tough bunch of guys there who can't play hockey, and that's what we're going to do against any team.
Richard, did you ever think that you'd be sitting in this position with the Vancouver Canucks?
No, not really. Well, you know, the Swede, we came up like at the end of the season really strong, and we took Calgary in 3, and I think it was a big lift for the team, you know. And after Los Angeles, we know they play well against Edmonton, and we're ready for them. We went all out with them, you know, and we play tough.
Thank you very much, Richard. Congratulations once again. Just a reminder that all of Canada will see the Quebec-Boston game on Friday, and that's a 5 o'clock start Pacific Standard Time. The final score once again, Vancouver 5, LA 2. This is Steve Armitage bidding you good night for Stanley Cup 82 on CBC.